Is back out on his true wing position.
Well, that's where he plays his good football. Gardner Medal winner, of course, etc. And away they go. 87 Grand Final is underway. Big men did fly in the centre. Ooh, there's a nice head-high tackle. It'll go Traralgon's way, and they'll take it in the centre. Cunico will be the recipient of the first free, and in fact the first kick of the day. Onto the boots it goes. We find Cunico putting it high in the air, kicking with the wind, wise to put it up. They'll need to keep it just across this side of the ground as Smith now for the Morwell side goes in, trying to do something with it. Pretty scrambly early, as we thought it would be. Gee, I tell you what, Mark Stevenson has dropped it onto a right boot, and a very fluky bounce there. Nearly saw it going right through the centre, but good work in defence down there by Kennedy. Mick Kennedy looking a bit short down there. He's playing on Neil Wright too, but they tell me he held Shane Lovelace pretty well a couple of weeks ago. Good-looking kick, puts it out into the defensive side of the ground. Big men trying to pull it down. They can't. Opportunity for Traralgon. They still can't pick it up. Fairly scrambly, these affairs, aren't they, early as they sort themselves out.
Particularly in the windy conditions, hard ground, bounce of the ball goes everywhere. Hard for players to get their rhythm going quickly.
There's the ball. They'll need to keep it pretty open out here as Peter Black, one of the veterans of the Traralgon side, runs in, picks up his first touch for the afternoon. Unfortunately for him, not his first kick, and it goes over the line and out of bounds. Traralgon kicking to the southern or Thorpedale end of the ground, and of course the Vale or Moe City end, the northern end, is Morwell's scoring zone in this, the first quarter. There's the throw in, high they go. Neither side much advantage there, but Morwell, if anything, as the ball again drops itself over the line and out of bounds. Great day here, probably be 22, 24 degrees, and just unfortunately this wind is going to spoil the action to a certain extent.
I think the people on the eastern side of the ground is going to see plenty of action over there with the wind blowing across.
Yes, they always seem to do that to commentators. I don't know who does it, but it always seems to happen. Nice bit of play there as we find Traralgon going forward, high in the air as that was Pearce dropping it off that half-back flank division. Drops to the turf, opportunity not taken there in the occasion of Adrian Campbell. Haven't seen much of that lad before, but they tell me a good talent as the ball again goes over the line and out of bounds. This time it's on the full, and the free kick will be taken down there, and it'll be taken by Michael Hall. Hall now for the Morwell side. No relation to you, Peter, I gather?
No, Graham.
As the ball goes high, the big men fly. Nice mark taken there for the Morwell side. And Wayne Peters, he originally, they tell me, he was going to be a centre-half forward, but is starting off on the wing today, and apparently he's putting in good work for this Morwell side. Another good mark taken in the centre there, right on the arms of Tim Robertson. Fleming taking it nicely. A bit of hand passing going on as they take it wide, trying to bring it in. A little bit low there as Alan Lowe goes out trying to pick it up. Can't do much with it. They're tackling pretty hard, but the ball is not being delivered properly at the moment. You'd be a bit worried about this as a coach if you're out there at the moment. That's fairly scrambly.
As we said, it's predictable. Good to see, though, a few young players. Tim Robertson's picked up a good kick then for Morwell.
Waiting now for Hoban to take it on that half-back flank division. Tiger's been around for a while, one of the tougher players and talented players in the Traralgon side. Goes around that eastern wing. Big men fly. Morwell seem to be...
Adrian Campbell.
Flew behind, and it's young Adrian Campbell. Now, he's playing centre-half forward this afternoon, so he's fairly well out of his territory, dispatching it from the centre wing. Looking for the mark down there, but Marty Kreigsman, still sure as safe as ever, comes in and will defend for the Tigers. There's the ball going wide out towards the outer half-back flank division. Big fly there, looked like Cole McColl going through, but couldn't quite pull it down. To the ground it goes, and again it's over the line and out of bounds on the out of side. We're looking at the Coca-Cola TV8 scoreboard, and we find that it's null and void except for 1 point for the Traralgon side, which just about could have been a goal in the first minute and a half of this game. To the ground it goes, pushed away once again. Kevin Smith coming in, another one of the old stages from the Morwell side. Missed out on the 85 Grand Final with an injured thumb. No doubt is looking forward to try and redeem something this afternoon. That's about the 5th or 6th time it's gone out of bounds over there, so again it's scrambling. They've got to try and open it up, these players. David Allison, no, it's Kerr coming in. He gets a little bit high there, and the umpire is indicating a free, and Kerr will take it on the outer half-back flank division. We've traversed around about 4 minutes and 1 second in this, the first quarter of elapsed time, as the ball goes down towards the centre wing division. Popplestone tried but couldn't, only got one hand to it on that occasion. Wide it goes, still an opportunity here for Morwell to take it forward, but again we find it heading towards the boundary line. Still in play, ground it goes. This ground's fairly hard this afternoon, so unless they get their footing right, they could slip about a bit. Certainly won't bog down in the mud, will they, this afternoon?
I see that. I said they've also Traralgon taken a choice of playing Peter Burke against Alan Lowe down there, full forward, full back.
That's an interesting one. We'll have to keep an eye on that. No doubt Burke used to play with Sale, been around Traralgon now for a while, and he no doubt will be fairly conscious of the reputation of Alan Lowe. 7 a couple of weeks ago and 8 last week, so no doubt Morwell are looking for big things. Up they go. The umpire again has blown the whistle as we find it knocked over there by Mark Pearce. Interesting to see Mark Pearce, of course, in the Traralgon Guernsey.
Wearing the
Last
famous
year.
number 7 of Tommy Beveridge.
That's exactly right, and I see Tom out there too just a few moments ago, thumping Tom. There's the ball, nice mark pulled out of the centre there for the Morwell side. Bit of handball goes on, goes out wide. Allison picks it up, will turn, gets his right boot to it, gets put down after the kick, but the umpire says quite legally. Punched away, defensive work coming into operation. Traralgon still trying to jag it forward, can't do much with it. Gee, here's a break coming up. Nice bit of play out of the centre. Left footer down towards that centre half forward division, looking for the big fellas. Nearly a good grab there. Couldn't quite take it. Defence now. Peter Burke puts his right boot into the board. High. Up it goes. Opportunity backing into the ball, but a great grab taken there. Beautifully pulled out of the air.
Mick Kennedy.
And by Mick Kennedy. Well, he's certainly showing up early in this game. Kennedy more used to seeing him a little further down the ground, but apparently been doing it well. Tony Lane now, left foot kick. A little bit low on that occasion, gets it up wide, goes towards that boundary. A hand pass sees it going over the line and out of bounds, and a throw in around about 45 metres from the Traralgon goal. Pretty
Good
slow in the
football,
scoring department though, isn't it? Only 6 minutes gone in the first quarter, and 1 point is on the board for the Maroons on the Coca-Cola scoreboard. Still scrambly on the 50-metre line. Plenty of time there for Smith to get the handball out, but he handballed it straight to his opponent. Still scrambly, can't even see it from this distance, as the umpire will come in and bounce the ball right on that 50-metre line, right on the boundary line, Traralgon's half-forward flank. Brett Stanistreet is over there, standing in, waiting. A nice, beautiful 25 to 30-metre punch for Morwell down towards that centre wing division. Still they go, taking it nicely over there. That's young Peters. He's shaping up early too. Second kick for the afternoon. To the ground it goes, running free on that half-forward flank division.
Tackle.
Opportunity there for Popplestone. Couldn't get it. Picked up nicely over there by Pearce again. He's prominent early. Stanistreet. Nice bit of smothering there by James Silvestro, the Rodder Medal Trude Award winner. But the umpire is indicating a free kick. And it will be taken over there by Russell.
That's John McDonald.
John McDonald. Oh, gee, there's a few strange sights out there for me this afternoon. McDonald gets it up towards centre half forward, and a good grab's been taken, and Traralgon will take it from that particular position, right in the arms of Wayne Corbett. Was he playing this afternoon? Pete was named on a wing, but I imagine is on that half-forward flank. Corbett looks like a left footer on its way. Nice torpedo. Won't quite make the distance, I don't think. No, just touched on the line and through again for another behind. Actually, that nearly held up too.
A couple of good desperate saves. Mick Kennedy's soccer save in the early minutes of the game, and Marty Kreutzmann there. Good effort to get his hands to touch that ball.
Waiting now at Kennedy to put the ball back into action. Nice long kick, travels about 60 metres, right to the 60-metre line, and a good grab is taken over there. That looks like Kreutzmann coming into the action, and Marty Kreutzmann playing in the back pocket this afternoon has played it well to go down and pick up the kick from Kennedy. There's the kick by Kreutzmann. He sends it to around about 55 metres down towards the half-forward line. Allison trying to scoop it up. Kerr is in there, dives on the ball. The umpire watching carefully has come out of the pack. The ever-reliable Stanistreet drops a right boot into the ball. Low is there. Burke is closely attending. A bit of handball. It was a bad one on that occasion. Trying to give it across there to McColl. He couldn't do much with it. A kick out of the pack sees Traralgon trying to come on the defensive. Leaping off that half-back flank division is Jimmy Stevenson. Still going into the ball. His strength is probably his biggest asset, but it comes out there beautifully to Brett Stanistreet, only to find a wayward hand pass, getting it back towards that half-forward flank. Nice play. Young Campbell again. Gets his foot to the ball, high in the air, travels right towards that forward pocket. Kreutzmann underneath it with right. Neither can take hold of it. Who's going to leap off the pack? It's Marty Kreutzmann once again. They're defending well down there, Peter, at this moment, but on that occasion, not so well, because inaccuracy sees it over the line, and Alan Jennings will take the free around about 60 metres out, right on the boundary. Left foot kick, tries to centre the ball. Neil Wright, standing start, taking a good grab.
Was a nice mark, under plenty of pressure there from Kreutzmann.
It's interesting, Neil Wright never takes great runs at the ball, and I thought that might suit Kennedy, and there it is once again, coming up, a nice grab. Kreutzmann trying to get his fist to it, but can't do so. Neil Wright standing his ground and a good strong grab. Neil Wright, not known for his accuracy of kicking. Distance won't be any problem, only 20-25 out from goal. Very, very slight angle, the angle you can discount. Goes back. Drops it on its way. I think the umpire says it's right through the centre, and it is. A nice goal to Wright there, the first on the board, and that comes up at the 9.5-minute mark of this, the first quarter, as Big Neil Wright puts it through. His goal on the board, the first for the afternoon. Coca-Cola scoreboard. Traralgon moved to 1-2-8. Morwell have yet to score.
Well, Traralgon will be hoping to do that, I should think, a lot today, Graham, with Neil's height advantage right down there in the forward line. He's certainly got a couple of inches on Marty and very long arms to telescope up and grab those big marks.
You, John Mills and I have a big task this afternoon. The Winfield TV8 award is $250 for the best player on the ground, 125 for second and 75 for third. And we've also got to pick out the goal kicker of the afternoon, and I'll tell you how we're going to organise that a little later. There's the bounce in the centre. Nice knock there by Cunico. No Rovers at home, however, to the ground. Could be a trip there to Mark Pearce. No, it's going the other way, and it's going to be taken by Col McColl, former Glengarry, former Traralgon, and been around Morwell for a number of years. A good player. There's the kick by young Col McColl. Sends it wide down towards the half-forward flank. A little bit too easy down there, however, as the mark is taken by Popplestone. Popplestone now going for that usual run. He's going to get himself into trouble here if he doesn't be careful. He gets it across to Burke. Burke on the left boot, shooting it wide over there, looking for his teammate, but can't find him. And it's pushed over the line by Ashley Bond for the Morwell side, and it remains in the Morwell half-forward flank division. No changes by either side as yet, as we find Walsh and Wade McDonald on the bench for the Traralgon side, and no doubt they'll wait and see how things pan out before any changes are made. Wide it is over there. Traralgon coming out with it very nicely as it's put down towards by McDonald towards the half-forward flank. Underneath it is Stephen Allison. Turns well, got the bounce. Very short-looking kick, however, not a good one. Jennings comes in, tries to take it, can't do so. Good backing up by Allison, however, and Stephen Allison dispatches it towards that half-forward flank division. Drops off the hands of the big fellow going down there. Couldn't quite take it. Peters now putting it forward. Alan Lowe in the set. Can't take it, however. Gee, I thought it was set up pretty well for him, but that'll be a free. No, the umpire says play on. Morwell scream, and I think that might be good enough as it's put right through the centre on that occasion. And it was put through by
Tim Robinson.
Tim Robinson. We'll have a look at that again if we can. A very nice goal there to the Morwell side. They get there first on the board as we watched it on replay.
Yeah, excellent opportunist goal for a young kid to do that. It's a particularly good effort early in the game. I think one interesting move that Traralgon have got going is for Frank Burke to be tagging Rod Kerr. We can see him out there in the forward pocket. And I think Frank's followed Rod all around the ground so far, and he's now in the back pocket while Rod's having a rest. So
we've got Frank Burke, who's played half a game in the seniors, in the reserves, has got a big job as David Allison breaks out of the centre. Nicely roved there to the big fellow as he gets it down, and there's Lowe on this occasion, and no problem.
Great judgment from Lowe.
You'd know a lot about Lowe, having coached him at Traralgon, and also, of course, seen him run around in Morwell.
He uses his body well, and his excellent judgment is what gets him into position to take those marks, and usually a good, reliable kick.
Well, he's not far out. He's only about 35 metres out from goal. It's on its way, and I tell you what, he's done it. Alan Lowe, if he could be in for a big day, Morwell are going to be in for a big day, and against the wind, they've got two straight on the board. They lead Traralgon by 4. It's 1-8. So the Coca-Cola scoreboard shows Morwell with the ascendancy as Alan Lowe lines up to show you how exactly he did it, and he did it very well.
Good start for the Morwell club, and if they can keep this rolling, it'll just give them that little bit of confidence. They are kicking against the scoring end this quarter, and if they can keep their momentum going, they could put themselves in a good position.
If you're Russell Rowe at the moment, you wouldn't like to see 2-1 on the board against the breeze, would you?
I certainly would not.
There's the ball, centre bounce, nice knock again, but he's doing well in the ruck, the big fella for Morwell too, as another hand pass comes out, finds its way to Stanistreet's boot. He sends it wide, but it'll be Jeff Dyer coming in to defend very strongly there. Jeff usually at full back, but not this year, and we find Peter Black has taken it. That's a good duel too. Smith and Black over there, two great players.
Certainly is.
There's the kick by Peter Black, puts it wide. Oh, gee, that's a gutsy mark, running into the back of the pack, and the umpire's paying it, and who else, of course, but Alan Jennings. Great skills, Alan Jennings, and he's taken it well. And the 50 metres that he's relying on for this ball to travel is not beyond him, Peter.
No.
This one is, though. He's wobbled it, and it's down into the forward line, but out comes Neil Wright. Gee, the last mark he took was easier. On that occasion, he couldn't. It's Silvestro gets dispossessed on that occasion by Stephen Allison. Stephen Allison for Morwell. Long raking kick around the centre wing division. Nice mark, Tony Lane running back underneath the ball. Out-thwarted Col McColl on that occasion.
Courageous mark. Tony will never let the club down.
There's Tony Lane's kick right into that half-forward flank division. Neil Wright on that occasion made ground. Couldn't do much with it. Jimmy Silvestro caught with the ball. Smith gets it to boot for defence for Morwell. Wide again it goes. Picked up by Peter Black. Gee, suicidal hand passes here. And again, we find the umpires picking out a free. It's going to the Morwell side. Blackie caught with the ball, I imagine, over there.
Good pressure. Two or three fellas putting the tackles on, and that's putting Traralgon under a lot of pressure.
It's something that Kevin Smith does very well, and he's been rewarded with a free kick. There's the kick. Not a good one. Falls short down there. He's looking for his teammate, but couldn't find him, and Allison came in trying to pick it up, but couldn't do so. Good play, however. Sees it down towards that half-forward flank division. Still centering around that centre wing. Off the boots on that occasion of young Michael Hall. Gets it down towards the half-forward line. The ball centred. Nobody can take it. Good defensive work now by the Traralgon side as they get it out here for the first time onto this centre wing. David Allison and Jim Stevenson go after it. Allison punches it over the top, looking there for his teammate, but Campbell comes in, does it well. Peter Petro missed what he should have taken. A suicidal handball. You ducked your head, and the umpire quite rightly is penalising Peter Petro for dropping the ball and holding it on that occasion.
Unlucky, but it's the right decision.
Nice kick into the forward line too, and a good mark has been taken down on the half-forward flank, 45 metres out from goal. Mark Stevenson on this occasion with number 38 stamped across his back for the Maroons. Don't know too much about this lad's kicking ability, but at 45 with Stephen Allison on the mark, dead in front, should have an opportunity to put Traralgon second on the board. He has not done that. He's put it through for 1 point, and we find 139 on the board, that Coca-Cola scoreboard for Traralgon, and Morwell 2 straight 12. So there's 4 scoring shots, but still Traralgon trail the 2 scoring shots of Morwell at this juncture. Waiting now for Kennedy to put it out once again. Nice looking kick, doesn't quite travel as far as previous dispatches from that direction. By gee, there's a good mark taken right over the top there, beautifully pulled in by Mark Cunico. Cunico now over there on that outer side of the ground. Max Cunico for the Traralgon side. This is certainly going to be a bit beyond him, I would imagine, because Kennedy is a nice kick of the ball, but he's kicking with the aid of the breeze. He travels at nearly the 50 metres, but it's going to fall about 10 short. To the ground it goes. Good roving by Peter Black there. He's dispossessed of the ball. The boundary will be the recipient, and it's over the line and out of bounds. This time on the western side of the ground, the southern end, the Thorpedale end of this Vale Street Oval. 16 minutes gone, first quarter. There's the knockout by Marty Craigsman. He physically takes it, puts it out, but it could be dangerous here. As we all know, the ball bounced awkwardly there for all concerned. Opportunity now for the defence of Morwell to come into action. Nearly a free, but the umpire says play on. Jim Stevenson a handball. Nicely gets it across to the skipper in Russell Rowe. That's his first dispatch for the day, I would think, Millsy. Yes. Up they go. Wright is the player who tries to get hold of it, but can't do so. Into the ground it goes. Well, all the rumours of this being a roughhouse grand final certainly haven't proved that at the moment, Peter.
No, it's been a good clean game. Hardly thought that.
There's Neil Wright down to the forward line trying to pick it up. They're only about 15 metres out from that Traralgon goal. 2 of them trying desperately. Picked up by Peter Black. He shoots for goal and he's put it through. Now that is a nice goal, Peter Black.
Very good kick from Blackie.
Very good play by Neil Wright too.
Yes, Neil Wright dropping it to the ground. As I was saying to Jimmy Silvestro this afternoon on the preview, that for a rover, if you've got all those big fellas there, well, they can bring it to the ground. The Rovers have got to do the rest. And Black, on that occasion, did not let them down and has done it very well. Coca-Cola scoreboard shows 2-3 to 2 straight. So Traralgon take the ascendancy. 17.5 minutes gone. 87 grand final, just waiting for the bounce in the centre. There's the bounce once again. The big men fly. Nicely knocked down on that occasion by Cunico. No Rovers at home, however, and it's picked up by Col McColl. Hand passes wide. Again, Morwell going to take it out of the centre. They've been doing that quite regularly in the first quarter, as Lowe fights with Burke for the ball. Can't do much with it. A hand pass will find its way to Jimmy Stevenson. David Allison overhauling him, but not before he gets the kick up. Looking there for Corbett. Can't find that player. And brother Stephen Allison will come in and try and do something about it. He does, and the umpire says throw it in.
Good contest here on the wing between David Allison and Jimmy Stevenson, both very fast players.
Both very strong too, as the ball now drops. Oh, Corbett's copped one there as he went to go through. But gee, that was right in the face. Pretty tough little fellow, however, and Corbett will scrape himself up off the ground.
Didn't flinch.
No, he didn't. He hasn't even rubbed his face. I'm looking at him. Pretty tough little unit. There's the ball. High they go. Cunico and Bond go for the big one, and the ball is nullified and over the line and out of bounds. Interesting, the 2 number 22s contesting there in the ruck for their respective sides.
And both doing very well. They've both had their share of hit-outs. Good ruckman.
There's the ball. Up it goes, nullifying each other. Bond probably did fractionally better. Comes out to Allison, but overhauled. That's Stephen that's got it now. It was David who tried to pick it up. And David Allison is still down on the ground, too, as a trainer goes in. We'll keep an eye on that. And here's the first blue for the afternoon. Jimmy Stevenson involved down there. I can't see who the Morwell player is.
Brett Stanistreet.
Yeah, Brett Stanistreet. So 2 players who know their way about. The umpire must have thought that Brett was in the wrong, because Jimmy Stevenson will receive the free.
I think Brett was hanging on. He didn't want to let him get away and get the ball moving quickly.
David Allison is up and about, just got one in the back there apparently. There's the kick by Jimmy Stevenson. His kicking lets him down fractionally, but that was centred very nicely. Over the back it goes, picked up by Rowe, was going to do something with it, gave it there to Jennings. Jennings puts it forward, but Kennedy is the only player home. Kennedy very easily defending towards the outer side of the ground, looking over there for Bond, finds that player but can't quite bring it in, and it gives Lane the opportunity. He gets it down towards that half-forward line. Still can't do much with it as Mark Stevenson comes in. Still a scrambling-looking affair. The umpire says what? He's gone in and
Holding the ball.
Holding the ball is the decision. And
pretty hot decision against Rod Kerr.
Yes,
Tony Lane.
Yeah, Tony Lane. Now he's on the right side of the ground there too, Tony Lane.
15 metres.
And 15 metres. The distance I don't think would have worried him in the first place. Brings him to within about 25 of the goal, but he's only around about a metre or so from the boundary line, so his accuracy will be tested here.
Difficult shot on his wrong foot, kicking into the wind.
Johnny Walsh is warming up to come on for the Traralgon side. There's the kick. Oh, gee, I tell you what, no, he hasn't. He's put it through for one behind, 2-4-16 to 2 straight 12. Now is the situation, and we've travelled 20 minutes in this, the first quarter. Opportunity wasted. Red hot there, though, on young Kerr, I thought.
Yeah, they have been very quick on the tackles to penalise people who good long kick out there by Mick Kennedy. Tony Lane, strong effort there. He's got hold of the ball, paid the mark.
How many possessions for Lane?
Fifth kick he's had.
Fifth kick that Lane's had and 6 possessions, so doing very well on his wing. Ball down towards that half forward by G. He's pinched that. He's going to give it to him too. I think I'd like to have a look at that again on replay if we could.
Telescopic arms of Neil Wright has just plucked it over the top there.
By G, I thought he pinched it. Here it goes. Ooh, he's pinched it right out of the hands there on that occasion of his opponent in Mick Kennedy. Neil Wright already has one on the board, and at the 21-minute mark of this, the first quarter, he's hoping for a second. The goal scorers have been Tim Robertson and Alan Lowe for the Morwell side, and we have Peter Black and Neil Wright for Traralgon. Ready now for the ball to be dispatched. Goes back, Neil Wright, only 20 metres out from goal. The angle, you can forget about it because he's just about dead in front. Kicks it high, the umpire says. Right through the centre. Neil Wright second for the afternoon.
Good start for Neil, give him plenty of confidence.
Traralgon's third. Give Traralgon a bit of confidence too with 21 minutes gone. They'd probably want to be 3 or 4 in front as we watch Wright do it once again. They
certainly needed that goal because they have had the majority of the play and done all the attacking, and they only had 2 goals to that particular stage. But 10 points in it now. It's Moore can hang on from here. They've still done well. Interesting, actually, that Morwell have done better out of the centre bounces, but they've been falling down across that half-forward line. Traralgon have been doing very well in that division. They've been able to run it out quite easily at times. There's the knock again, this time taken by Bond. Picked up over there by Hoban. He's well out of position. Tony Lane gets one high, but the umpire says it's quite fair. Coming out is Kerr. Kerr gives a hand pass across there to Smith. He's dispossessed. Eventually it's Stanner Street. You don't get much time to get your kicks out there today, do you? There's young Corbett coming in. He's going to be assisted by David Allison. But the hand passing finds its way to David Allison. And I think it must have been a red-hot coal because he got rid of it pretty quickly, I can tell you, as Jeff Dyer will come in and defend it. Jeff, that is not a good-looking kick and is going to be over the line and out of bounds. And I certainly wouldn't have done that with it. He wasn't under all that much pressure, and the dribble around the boundary would have been far more beneficial to his side. David Allison will be the recipient of that kick over the line by Jeff Dyer from the half-back flank. Jim Stevenson on the mark. There's the kick. By gee, look at the wind take that across. Pretty hard to judge it. Low comes out. Really hard for him to do that as it hits the turf. Opportunity now for them to take it away through Jennings. He's still playing good football, Alan Jennings. Up it goes, and Mick Kennedy on this occasion comes out and possesses the ball very nicely on that last line of defence. Kennedy now goes wide. They go. Nearly a nice grab pulled out of the air on that occasion. Couldn't take it was Tim Robertson. Quite a likely fella as Black now run it through 50. He puts it up looking for Neil Wright. Over the top of the pack it goes and through for one behind. Good running by the Traralgon side to be able to run it away from that half-back line. Jennings involved in a couple of positions there is doing well. With Johnny Walsh not on the ground, and I'm not sure whether he's come on yet, but he was lining up to come on and I haven't noticed, but they don't look too imbalanced down there in that forward line, do they, Traralgon? No, I think they've got the right number of big men on the field at the moment with just the one at centre-half forward and one at full forward. Just have to check on Johnny Walsh's activity. I saw him lining up. He's not on the ground. John White, thank you. He's still sitting in the box. They might have been thinking about it, changed their mind. IG Peter Black's a good player. He's everywhere. He's in defence now. Puts it to the centre, looking for and finding Robert Popplestone. Tell me a few league scouts looking at this fellow too. I thought he might be a bit old, been around for a while. I know he's not decrepit, but at 24 making league football is certainly a little on the old side. Opportunity again for Traralgon to go forward, this time off the boots on that occasion of Mark Stevenson. Looking for the big fellas, can't get it. Only a chance there for Hoban, I think it is, down in that forward line. Running it over the line and out of bounds, and a resulting throw-in will take place around about 10 metres from the Traralgon goal. Time ticking away from Traralgon. They need another one, I think. We're coming up to 25 minutes. They lead at the moment by 11 points, 3-5 to 2. I don't think is enough at this stage.
Ball hits the turf. Marty Craigsman punches it away. They've defended very well, however. Wrong foot on that occasion, Jennings, but I tell you what, it's not a bad attempt for Jennings, and it goes across and through for one behind. They've had 9 scoring shots for 3-6 on the board to 2 straight, and I would have thought Russell Rowe would have wanted for a little bit more accuracy as a change is coming up for Morwell, Peter.
Mike Hall's coming off, and Peter Henderson is having his first run for the day, and that's a bad kick out from fullback, out on the full there from Mick Kennedy.
Well, that's the first bad kick he's done, and he's done 6 of them from standing start, so it's going to be a resulting free to be taken by Traralgon, and Jimmy Silvestro, the helmeted Rodder Medal Trude Award winner, will take it. Puts it on its way, but gee, it's not a bad looking kick, but the umpire says it's not through and it's only one behind. But gee, they're frittering away opportunities now. 3-7 on the board, 10 scoring shots to 2, and we're into the time on period by 9 seconds of the first quarter. See if he can do better this time, Mick. Certainly can. Takes no chances looking for Petro, he is. And in the centre, it's Stanistreet who comes in to take the mark. Petro running back, a little bit of talking there between the two Morwell players. The veteran of 277 games gets it down towards that centre half-forward division, falls short of that zone, however. Popplestone gets it down towards the half-forward line, nicely taken away by Cunico. He ducks and weaves Stanistreet. Not a good-looking kick, gives no opportunity to his forwards, and it goes through for just one behind again.
Yes, awkward quick kick, Max, but good mobile player and did well to get around 2 players, but I'm afraid couldn't finish it off with a good kick.
The only multiple goal kicker on the ground is Big Neil Wright, 18 for Traralgon. He has 2 on the board, and Alan Lowe and young Tim Robertson have 1 apiece for Morwell. The other goal kicker is Peter Black for the Traralgon side. It's a better kick back, and it goes down towards that centre half back division, only to find underneath it is Hoban. Obviously not running on that back line, having a run on the ball, Pete, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we haven't picked up exactly where he's playing at the moment.
He gets it down to Neil Wright. Craigsman stands his ground, can't do much with it. Neil Wright with a chance, but it's wide and it's through for just another behind. But gee, I'd be a bit worried with 3-9 on the board coming up to quarter time here at the Vale Street Oval. Morwell stagnant on two straight, 12. They trail at the moment. Let's have a look at it. As they fix it up, the Coca-Cola scoreboard, we have 3-9 to 2 straight, and they will adjust it in just a moment as we try to get rid of 9 points at the... No, it'll be more than 9
sorry.
It's 15 points at the moment. There's the ball dispatched out towards the outer side of the ground. Can't pick it up, however. Robbie Kerr has the opportunity. No, it's not Kerr.
Corbett.
It's Corbett, the little fellow. Gets it towards the centre of the ground. Big mark needed here. Petro tried but couldn't. The ground it goes. Russell Rowe, the skipper, coming through. Couldn't pick it up. Peter Black can, however. Gets dispossessed very quickly and pushed in the back to mine. Whew. The umpire's just caught with the ball, Blackie.
Yeah, he had first opportunity. He didn't get rid of the ball, and even though he was pushed in the back, I thought the umpire paid the decision against him.
And it goes over there to Danny Corbett. That's the Morwell player down towards that half-forward flank division. The big men fly, and again
Peter
it's
Allen,
going to be a
I think.
Morwell mark, and it's Peter Allen. First touch for the afternoon. The two skippers not being very prominent in this game so far. Alan Lowe seeking kicks wide and far is out there as Peter Henderson, who gets a push in the back. The umpire ignores, and Henderson has just come on the ground. There's a nice hand pass. Blackie setting it up beautifully in the centre. He's going to run with the ball wide. Gets it out to Jim Stevenson. You got all the time in the world, son. David Allison had to try and tackle 2 of them then. And towards the Big Neil Wright area, but they're going to be out positioned here as the ball drops to the ground. Beautifully taken by Campbell. Gets a hand pass across to Jennings. He's dispossessed. Nicely coming out there, the defensive work of Allison to Craigsman. Craigsman out where David Allison will take it. Well done. Nice bit of play there.
Good pace, David, to get away quickly from the mark. Got some time now. Looking
David
for Kevin
Allison.
Fleming.
And finds him, but can't quite handle it. To the ground it goes. Popplestone the opportunity. What's the umpire say?
Ooh,
Good lucky there. Could have gone either way. And Popplestone holding his head too is going to rise to his feet. Trainers run out, but I think Robert Popplestone will be okay. We certainly will be okay as we check the Coca-Cola scoreboard at quarter time. 3-9-27 to 2 straight 12. 15 points the 7 down there.
Johnny
we
McDonald.
find is Johnny McDonald, yes. So Henderson been a good player over the years. Well, Morwell going now into the second quarter. They trail at the moment by 15 points as we start this particular quarter underway. Out of the centre we find McDonald getting the kick, and away it goes down towards that half-forward flank division. So Traralgon into attack very quickly, something they haven't been doing in that first quarter. I thought that Morwell held the ascendancy of getting it out as we find Stephen Allison, a bit of hand passing, sees Morwell traverse it around that centre wing division. Big men fly. Popplestone tried but couldn't as it drops to the ground. Now it's into about the 45-metre mark. Jeff Dyer will come in. Can't quite gather it in down there on this occasion as a scramble develops, and the umpire will come in, bounce the ball right on that Morwell half-forward flank.
Good contest between Peter Burke and Lowy. They're both strong players, and a bit of hip and shouldering and bumping there between the two of them.
Interesting to see if Morwell can deliver it a bit better into that forward line for Lowe, because he's a player that likes to lead, position himself and give himself a bit of room.
Very hard in these windy conditions for him to kick it well.
There's the ball, goes to the ground. Kerr, a hand pass over there for the Morwell side, still scrambling, and by gee, I'd say it's spent probably around about 15 to 20% of the time over in that particular pocket over there, with the wind still coming in. Hard to tell how strong from our position, but again, I'd say 3 or 4 goals. Silvestro tried but couldn't on that occasion, so a bit of hand passing is going to see Morwell out of trouble, and a nice kick by Henderson there. It's just offline. In fact, it's well offline and over the line and out of bounds. On the full
was Stanistreet, I think.
Stanistreet, was it, onto the right boot? Stanner hasn't really got into the game yet, has he?
No, only had a limited number of kicks.
There's the kick. Out comes Ashley Bond, but a nice grab nearly pulled out there. Peter Black picks it up. Couldn't do the hand pass as he wanted it to. It's Corbett trying to come in and pick it up. Can't do so. Tony Lane flirting with death in the boundary line, but he got the right bounce and the right flight, and it's over the line and out of bounds. Just about in front of the Morwell box, I think, down there on the half-forward flank division.
That's little Donaldson there has come onto the ground, Graham, and changed there at quarter time, had that quick kick.
There's the ball, high in the air. The big men fly. Nicely knocked out by Cunigo. Picked up by Tony Lane. Dispossessed by the strong Stanistreet tackle. Ashley Bond sort of threw the ball away. Dyer goes into battle, but it finds its way to Stanistreet. It's a better looking kick, but Lowe's got to run back on it, and is out positioned there by Burke as he punches it to the ground, giving the opportunity to the running players. Nicely done there by Frank Burke. Gets it to Jimmy Stevenson. Jimmy Stevenson, one bounce. Will go for another. He's now going to be tackled by Petro. Not a good looking kick, but gets it down onto the half-forward line, looking for and finding Adrian Campbell. Campbell now is getting boot to ball. High it goes. No doubt looking for right, but Kriegsman, or is it? No, it is Kriegsman, and gets his position in front and does it very nicely. There's Peter Petro. Played well in the grand final about 83, but got dispossessed very quickly there with the opportunity now coming up for Traralgon. Is that a goal? By G, accuracy there. Wayne Corbett, good roving. I'd like to have a look at that again on replay. Very quick. Peter Petro, very sloppy play on that half-back flank.
Had an opportunity to go on his right foot, doubled back, tried to get on his favourite left foot, and consequently got caught himself in trouble. Just proves that I think in grand finals, when the pressure's on, you've got to do the first thing that comes in your mind, instantaneously.
That's right, and Wayne Corbett there putting it through for the Traralgon side, his first for the afternoon. The goal kickers so far have been Neil Wright and Peter Black kicking 2 and 1, Wright 2 and Black 1. Now we find Wayne Corbett gets the 4th on the board. They now move to 4-9-33 on that Coca-Cola scoreboard to 2 straight.
Very handy goal to Traralgon, into the wind, first goal for the quarter.
Especially against that breeze, as we mentioned. Stanistreet lurking around the centre as the umpire dispatches the ball. The big men will fly, the 2 number 22s. Nicely knocked to the ground there by Bond. Gets it to the 50-metre mark, travelled around 35 metres. Fence now needed, but on that occasion, as Morwell now through Corbett, his very short right foot kick will find its way to Jeff Dyer's arms, and Dyer has taken the mark right on the half-back flank. Jeff Dyer now, Traralgon, 17 on his back, goes back, puts it around our broadcasting centre wing. Opportunity for big men here, and by gee, nearly a good grab. In fact, the umpire's going to pay it. I don't think they're going to pay that.
Very lucky.
Cunigo didn't hold it long enough to mind, but the umpire's paid it, so Cunigo's not caring. He believes the umpire. Goes down where Rowe will position himself. Hayes in front, however. Ball dropped to the ground. That's got to be a free, not paid. Umpire watching carefully as it's handballed out by Campbell, looking there for Corbett. Finds that player. Still they can't go through. And he kicks it pretty hard to get as Russell Rowe tries very hard. The skipper coming through Jimmy Stevenson. Gee, pretty strong stuff there from Stevenson. Gets it to Silvestro. And bad luck for little James as he gets his right boot to it. But just offline. And that's the 10th point on the board. They go to 4-10-34 to 2 straight. 12 for Morwell, so a fairly big lead at the moment of 22 points on the board for Traralgon as we've travelled now 4.5 minutes in the second term.
Umpires are making it hard to earn a kick, aren't they?
They certainly are. The ball now travels about 60 metres into the centre of the ground. A very nice kick out from that full-back division. A little bit of misunderstanding there between 2 Morwell players. Now it's right because Stephen Allison has it. Puts it into the centre. They go forward now. That's Big Bond getting it down towards that half-forward line. Only a good grab taken there. Couldn't be taken. The umpire says a push in the back. Free kick for Traralgon. They'll take it on that half-back flank division, and it will be taken down there by Frank Burke. It's a hand pass, actually, as it turns out, into the centre of the ground. Nice dispatch there by Mark Pearce. Long kick into the forward line. The big arms fly down there, but can't take the ball as it drops to the ground. Opportunity now for Morwell to run it. Can't do so. Still they go. Defence needed. A handball there from Kerr. Finds his teammate. Wide it comes. Kevin Smith is the target. He still battling hard for the ball. That swirling wind is not making it any easier. A further hand pass. We'll see Hayes try to come and gather the crumbs. Can't do so. Smith is there. Not pretty football as it's virtually stacks on the mill, and the umpire says, give it to me, fellas, and I'll start this game again. Not pretty football at the moment, is it?
No, it's pretty scrambly. I suppose the conditions don't help with that hard ground.
Wayne Peters standing high aloft there of Tony Lane. A little bit of height difference there, but Lane doing well on that wing, and so too is Peters. So just about a break even. Rowe giving instructions to the runner there as the skipper. Difficult out on the ground when you're trying to play as well. The ball high in the air. Traralgon about 55 metres out from their goal. Tony Lane centres the ball up. Did it well. Campbell's turned his back on it, which he shouldn't have done. So it allowed Marty Craigsman to come out, dispatch the ball down towards that centre wing division. Hiking after it very quickly as Tim Robertson for the Morwell side gets hold of it, gets his right boot to it, puts it back towards the centre. The wind again is going to hold it up, and nice markers pulled out of the air by Mark Pearce. He's picked his game up on that half-back flank division, gets it down to Adrian Campbell, and probably one of the best pieces of disposal for the afternoon. Campbell now, half-forward flank, far too far out to do it. He's scoring. He's 65 metres into the wind. Tries to centre the ball up. That's the best he could do. Grabbed off the ball was Kerr. Couldn't do much with it. Bit of hand passing. We'll see the crumbs gathered. They do it nicely as now Kerr has the ball for Morwell. Puts it round towards the centre wing looking for Peters, but he finds Henderson instead. He's dispossessed there by a good tackle from Jeff Dyer. Lane comes in to lend assistance. In they go. It's going to hit the boundary line, and that's where it will go. And two players hit the dirt there pretty hard, in Jeffrey Dyer, and I think it was Henderson.
Peter Henderson, yes.
And you don't
well,
stay
it's good
down.
to see Hendo putting his body in there. He copped a good tackle, but he was back to tackle his opponent only a matter of seconds later.
6.5 minutes, nearly 7 gone in this quarter. Nice knockdown. Jimmy Silvestro grab when not in possession. Tony Lane gets a quick kick in. He's looking down there on that half-forward line for Hoban. Can't find that player. To the ground it goes. Corbett's not with the ball, and he will get the free right in front of us. Tiggy touch with a bit there, I would imagine. But
yeah, a bit lucky. He's let a lot go like that today, Graham. Corbett was lucky to pick up that kick, I think.
Kevin Smith cannot believe it. It's umpire Gavin Dorr, too. Plenty of VFL experience, so let's not be critical. There's the board down towards the half-forward line. Floated beautifully there for Campbell. He's coming into it.
I think Peter Petro's... he's not quick enough for Campbell. Campbell's a pretty mobile big bloke, and Petro just hasn't kept up.
That's his 6th kick coming up. He's certainly making plenty of room and position for himself as we find Wade McDonald is warming up to come on. There's the kick. By G, he's done it well, but he left for the win, but unfortunately he left a little bit too much as it goes down. Defence now from Allison. Allison gets it out. Peter Black will swoop on it. Can't grab it. It's too high for him. Black will go and butter up again. Still can't get hold of it. Help him, I hear somebody scream out as Silvestro has grabbed when he didn't have the ball, but the umpire said play on. That was Hoban who put it down in the direction of Big Neil Wright, and I tell you what, that's not a bad grab. Let's see if the umpire's going to pay it, and it's Stevenson, I think, under there, is it? Yeah. Mark Stevenson has come out with it. The big arms of Neil Wright were trying to possess it, but Stevenson has pulled it down, and on a pretty acute angle. 4-10 to 2 straight.
Handy player, Mark Stevenson. He takes a good
Rowe
mark.
coming off the ground, incidentally.
He's got good hands.
Waiting now on the kick. There's a change coming up there for Traralgon. The kick is on its way. The umpire says what? It's right through the centre, and we find Mark Stevenson putting his first on the board for the afternoon. Putting Traralgon's 5th on the board as they now go to 5-10. That makes them 40. That's 28 points in the ascendancy of Morwell's 2 straight 12 on the Coca-Cola scoreboard at the 8.5-minute mark. John White has some information on the boundary.
Graham, Russell Rowe has just come off, and Wade McDonald is onto the field, and the word from the bench is to McDonald as he ran out, run, boy.
I would imagine that's what he would have to do too. I wonder why Russell Rowe came off. Perhaps not running hard enough, do you think, Pete, or wants to observe it at this stage?
Russell hasn't played a lot of football over the last few weeks. He's played often on the interchange bench. Wade McDonald is a very creative player with good hands, and I think he'll give good value to the side.
Waiting now for the bounce in the centre. We've had 9.25 minutes gone. The big men fly, the 222s. They've rucked unchanged so far. Down it goes towards the half-forward line, and nicely possessed there by Tim Robertson for the Morwell side. He's about 65 metres out, puts it high. He'll travel around about 45 of that, looking for Lowe. Can't find that player. Tactics on Lowe pretty good at the moment, I think. Peter can comment on that in a moment. And the ball again is going to be bounced.
Yeah, Peter Burke's a particularly strong player that stands man for man with his opponent, and he's an ideal player to be playing on Lowe. Notice I put Ashley Bond centre half back now onto Campbell. Peter Petro might be having a run on the ball, but he's certainly up there in the forward line there now.
Peter Petro needs to get into it. Another change has just been made here too. Coming off the ground we find is Kevin Fleming, and coming on is Peter Burke. Is Mick Hall coming back on. He's already started the game. Tony Lane has the ball on the centre wing division. Puts a nice kick down towards the Silvestro direction. Drops well there for Jimmy. He's off too, and gets his right boot to the ball. Who's he giving the opportunity to? Campbell. By gee, he got up about 10 minutes before he should have. Nicely taking it off. There's the ball out towards that halfback Hall, who's just come on the ground. Out wide, and again has found over there his teammate in the person of Robertson. He hasn't put in a bad quarter and a bit, has he?
No, he's done well. He kicked a goal early in the game.
9th possession, so he's certainly earning his keep. Tim Robertson now gets his right boot into the ball up towards the half-forward line. Not a good-looking kick, however, and the ball has been taken and marked right in that last line of defence there for the Traralgon side.
Disposal of ball has been on the whole very poor, I think.
Well, I think you can attribute that to the wind, of course, as it goes down towards the centre wing. The big men fly. Black and one of his teammates there trying to fight for it on this occasion, and Black has come out with it, so at least one of them's got it. Peter Black, he's certainly been around and about, picking up lots of possessions. I see Stanistreet with him, so he obviously is in the centre. Kicks it wide, looking for Popplestone, looked after over there by McColl, but it's over the line and out of bounds. This time on the 50-metre line, just a little bit wide of that, probably about 60 metres out from the Traralgon goal. Traralgon 5-10 to 2 straight. That's on the Coca-Cola scoreboard. It's the grand final live from the Morewell Street Oval. The kick high. Black has the sit. Black can't get it, however, as it drops to the ground. This time he butters up well. Can't get it himself. Nobody else is going to get it. Nice hand pass. There's Popplestone going wide out there on the centre wing division. Kick is not good. Again, we comment on the disposal as it's picked up by McColl, but it's going to be marked in the fence down there very nicely on this occasion by Mark Pearce. It's picked up a few marks, Millsy.
Yes, it's 2 this quarter.
There's the ball down into the centre of the ground, and we find Alan Jennings taking possession. Jennings now centering it up, getting it into that forward line very quickly. The big men fly. They've all got Tiger Guernseys on. The umpire certainly is going to give it to Morwell. It'll be taken by Brett Hayes. On the back pocket of the year again for about the 3rd year in a row. His kick is not good. In fact,
poor disposal again, Graham.
Very poor. Jeff Dyer didn't think it was because he was able to possess it. He's putting it down, looking here for McDonald. Can't find him, and it's over the line and out of bounds. Right on the half-forward flank, just short of the centre wing.
A long time since Morwell have had a scoring shot, isn't it? They kicked those 2 goals very early in the first quarter, and we're now at the 12-minute mark of the second quarter, and they haven't kicked a thing since.
Waiting for the ball to come out there. Danny Corbett for the Morwell side, trying to pick it up. The umpire's given him a free against the Morwell side. Kevin Smith throwing the ball. Umpire coming in. Pretty little fellow, this one.
Scored their second goal at the 12-minute, 22nd mark of the first quarter, so it's now been over a quarter, and Morwell haven't scored a goal or a behind.
They must be getting worried about that, I imagine, even though Traralgon have scored or had 15 scoring shots for 5-10. Ball in Stanistreet's possession, but Black now is going to come in and challenge him. It'll go over the line. There's no doubt about that, I wouldn't think. No, Stanistreet did it well. Well done, Brett Stanistreet. Puts it down towards that forward line, but a good grab is taken by Alan Jennings. He's everywhere too, ruck roving and doing it nicely.
Peter Burke.
Puts it across to Peter Burke. These 2 Burks doing well in defence as it goes down towards centre half forward. Campbell not there on this occasion. The umpire says a push in the back. It'll go Morwell's way, and Cole McColl will be the recipient. Young McColl now gets the right foot to the ball down towards that centre half forward, but again it's Jennings. Oh yes, coming in late there was Alan Lowe, old former teammate of Jennings. He could have finished him right off there, so there was no malice in that, and it's Jennings who's going to take the kick. Jennings now looking there for Campbell. Won't find him, I don't think, on this occasion. A very strong mark has been taken by Kennedy. Kennedy now appears to be out in that centre half-back division, and a bit of a swap around has gone on down in that full-back area. Petro, I think, having a run on the ball. Talking of Petro, gets his left foot to the ball, puts it down towards that full forward division. Can't do much with it, and it's over the line and out of bounds. Well, Traralgon, I'd say 80% of the possessions here at the moment at the 14-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yes, at least Morwell have got to do something very quickly, or they'll soon find themselves well out of contention.
There's the ball knocked to the ground. Nice knock too taken on that occasion. Couldn't do much with it, however. Mark Pearce, nice and handy to have him down there to do the right. Oh, gee, that was bad play on that occasion, and that's a goal.
Donaldson.
By gee, I'd like to have a look at that again, because that was very bad play in defence there for Traralgon as we pick it up on replay.
So I think it was Robbie Popplestone tried the handball over the top, and it was well intercepted by Donaldson.
Yeah, Popplestone over the top, repossessed, and straight back through the centre. You can't afford to make mistakes like that in a grand final.
No, I think Robbie wouldn't feel very happy about that at all. Been a good player, though. It was one of his few mistakes he's made.
Yes, I certainly can concur with that. As we get the ball back in the centre again, let's check that scoreboard. Pete, the Coca-Cola scoreboard.
5-10 to Traralgon and 3 goals straight to Morwell. 3 straight kicks have just kept them in there, haven't they?
They certainly have, and the goal scorers have been young Robert Donaldson, Tim Robertson and Alan Lowe have been the players to put it through. in the centre of the ground. Who's going to come out with this one? We'll wait and see. Brett Stanistreet, he sets it up for a kick towards centre-half forward. Petro is underneath it. Can't do much with it, however. Backs in underneath the ball. Charging through there. We found them trying to take it away, but couldn't do so. Still strong play down there on their forward line. Scrambly situation. Nobody can come away with it. Eventually onto the boots of Mark Pearce. Pearce gets it down towards Hoban, but Hoban gets it taken away by Stanistreet. 267 games, I think, this afternoon, and Lowy has taken a one-hander. What a mark.
Great player,
That's
strong player.
Capper.
Yeah, he held out Burke very well with his left shoulder, then was able to pull that in one-handed. A terrific mark and typical of the form he's been showing over the last 3 weeks.
Well, he hasn't had much opportunity down there, and they played him pretty well with the two Burkes coming in over the top of him and Dyer backing up there. So I thought with the limited opportunities he's had, he's kicked one. If he can kick a couple, that'll be pretty good at this stage of the game, I think. I tell you what, he's judged it pretty well, but only 1 point. He wouldn't be happy with that up and low, I would imagine.
Unfortunate, but at least Morwell have got the ball down there and they've made the last 2 scoring shots, and they really need to get a couple of other quick ones now.
16 minutes gone in the second quarter of the 1987 Grand Final here at the Morewell Street Oval. Traditional rivals Traralgon and Morwell battling it out as we find 40 plays 19, 21 points. Traralgon in the ascendancy. Coming out off that half-back flank division, a bit of danger there. Well done by Alan Lowe as he gets it across. Short pass is bad. By gee, the dispatch of the ball's been shocking, and Silvestro now will have the opportunity. That was a wasted moment.
Oh, wasted opportunity. I don't know why they're going for those short passes. They've got to get the ball to the goal square and get it there quickly.
There's the kick by Jimmy Silvestro down towards that centre of the ground. The big men fly. Not a day for big marking, either with that wind swirling around and affecting the delivery of the ball. Nice bit of hand passing. We'll see Stanistreet come in, punches it away from Silvestro. Coming there is Petro. I thought too high. The umpire agrees, and it's going to be Peter Petro to take the free. Unfortunately, not the best looking kick in the Morwell side.
Oh, gee, it was a tough tackle, though. Peter Petro's a strong player, and to even stop his body once he gets in motion, it was a good effort by Frank Burke.
Well, Burke did it well, but unfortunately he did it high, and the umpire has penalised him 45 metres out. I wouldn't go putting the house on this one.
No, not the most reliable kick.
Peter Petro, that left foot kick goes on. Down it goes. It's going to be wide. No, it's not. I'll tell you what, it's swinging back, and that's a goal, Peter Petro.
That is a great goal. He's made a liar of us, hasn't he?
They do. Well, they do every time. That's a great goal there. That's travelled around about 45 metres. Swirling wind. It went about 3 ways before it went through the goal, and a nice goal to Peter Petro.
Yeah, very handy. Perhaps he might surprise us down there at centre-half forward, Graham.
Well, I'm sure Morwell would be happy with a few surprises at the moment. Their accuracy is keeping them in it, 4-1 at the moment. That makes them 25. They're 15 points down on the 5-10-40, and they've had the last 3 scoring shots.
That's correct.
There's the kick again. They go out of that centre. Must be a worry for the Traralgon side because they're continually getting it out of the centre, Morwell. A bit of a high tackle there on Frank Burke, too, holding his head as it goes down towards the centre wing division. Stanistreet comes in. May I comment, too, that I think Stanistreet's had a bit to do with this revival.
He's picked up 3 or 4 kicks in the last few minutes.
The ball high in the air. Peter's trying to take it. Can't do so. Dispossessed. Low. Well out from goal. By gee, there's the man at the moment again, Petro, but this one won't swing around Peter, and it's through for 1 behind.
Good work by Lowy again. They're working hard in the pack to get the ball out.
Well, I think Lowy realises that the ball can't be delivered into the forward line as he would want it as a perfectionist in the marking area, and therefore he's coming down to
It's always been one of the assets of his game that he doesn't hang his head and expect the ball to be delivered. He always works hard for the ball, no matter how it's coming.
There's a bit of a go here going to go on. No, the umpire's watching carefully as we found, I think it was young Corbett, was it? No, young Donaldson. The umpire watching the ball float into the arms in the centre of the ground, and Morwell again will take possession.
Ashley
kick
Bond.
there by Ashley Bond. Yes, he sends it wide. There's Lowe backing into a pack. Fortunately, can't get those strong arms around it, and it's over the line and out of bounds. But no, it's not. It's through for 1 behind. Well, they're certainly peppering away, Morwell, in this latter stage of the quarter as 19 minutes have ticked by. They've got about another 7 or 8 to do what they can, and of course, Traralgon desperately trying to keep them out. Jeff Dyer now doing the kicking out from full back. There's the kick. Travels 52 metres down towards that centre-half back division. Ball drops to the ground. Again, Ashley Bond comes in. Hand pass is not good. Went to nobody in particular. Kevin Smith hunting kicks well up from that half-back line. Oh, Morwell, don't tell me you're going to spoil each other. Kerr and Allison, and it's David Allison to eventually...
I think it's Corbett.
No, it's little Corbett. By gee, they've got a lot of those little fellows, haven't they?
They look alike, don't they?
Well, I always thought McColl and Stephen Allison looked alike. Now you get David Allison and Corbett looking alike. Let's see what Corbett can do. He will be around about, yes, he'll be around about 45 out. The umpire says through for 1 behind.
Yes, that was unfortunate. It was certainly a good kick by young Corbett there. All have picked up their game in the last couple of minutes and starting to get themselves back in by putting in, chasing hard.
There's the ball coming out. Nice one there by Pearce. Again, still strange to see him in Tommy Beveridge's number, and stranger again seeing him in a Traralgon Guernsey. Last year, of course, and for many years, a Morwell player. There's the ball down towards Campbell. He's got a nice pair of hands too,
good,
young
strong
Campbell.
player. Took the ball well out in front of his body then, had no chance of punching from behind.
It's interesting to see there too, of course, that Mick Kennedy is now trying to look after him. Jimmy Stevenson gets the ride on this one. David Allison floated in front of him, and the mark has been taken by Jim Stevenson. Kicking into the breeze, he won't get the distance. He'll drop about 10 short. Up they go. Nearly a nice mark pulled off the top of the back. Tony Lane, an opportunity. The umpire watching carefully. Somebody kicks this, we're going to be in bother, but the umpire says
Rush through for a point.
1 point on the board. So that's the that's the 11th behind on the board for the Traralgon side, and dare I say probably around about 10 minutes since they've had it down there to do anything with it. There's the kick out. Wide, about 60 metres it goes. The big men fly, punched away nicely on that occasion by Cunico from Bond. Grounded drops, picked up over there and dropped just as quickly by Kevin Smith. Half-back flank division for Morwell at the moment. Bit of hand passing sees Hoban go forward. His kick beautifully smothered there off the boot. Picked up by Kevin Smith. His opportunity now to drive the ball round towards the half-back flank division. Just eludes the running David Allison over there, and it's over the line and out of bounds.
Quick hands there by Wade McDonald. He's noted for that at Traralgon to set up that chance for Hoban, but well intercepted there by Morwell.
Yes, a nice little bit of a smother there. Hoban with the opportunity. Hoban playing well too in that forward line. Bit of hand passing from Kerr. Finds it across down towards the half-forward line, and Petro, a sliding mark in front there of Pearce.
He's certainly doing better at centre-half forward than he was at centre-half back.
Well, he's moving around a bit. He doesn't have to worry about anyone. Pearce has got to worry about him. There's the kick. Left footer into the forward line. It's wide. Opportunity over there, but not accepted by Frank Burke. Goes wide. The umpire watching carefully. And it's going to be a free kick, and it's going to be paid here to the Traralgon side, and going to be taken by Frank Burke.
Touchy one again, Graham. I think there's been plenty of those today that he's let go.
There's the ball. Down towards that centre wing division. The big men fly, but the smaller one there, and Jimmy Stevenson, I think it was, in front of the pack.
See, another doubtful mark that he's paid.
Yeah, Jimmy Stevenson just getting his hands to the ball, taking it nicely. Been a good duel over there between the Allisons, and Jimmy Stevenson, I think, just starting to get on top at this stage.
I think he is. He's had a few nice runs with the ball, a few breaks.
Was not a good kick as it floated down, but it turned out very well for the Traralgon side as it finds its way into that centre-half forward division. By gee, there's a good grab right into the arms there of Brett Hayes.
He's paid Traralgon.
And he's paid Traralgon, I don't believe it. Let's have a look at that on replay, can we? It was a definite mark to Brett Hayes, I would have thought. Here it comes down towards... No, I don't know.
But certainly Tony Lane didn't hang on to it long enough to be paid the mark.
Must have had it in his fingernails as opposed to his fingers, I think. Tony Lane could make this distance.
Yes,
he's a very good kick. It's the wind that will upset him.
Here comes Tony. Good looking kick.
Straight through the middle, I would think.
Excellent goal.
Yeah, nice goal, Tony Lane. His first for the afternoon.
From a lucky mark, though. It's amazing those little breaks in football.
Well, there's a bit of luck. You make your own luck, I suppose they say. 6-11 now. That makes it 47. There's Tony Lane again in replay, about to line it up. See?
14 and a half minutes since I kicked the goal.
On its way and travels straight through the centre. Nice goal as we find lining up on the boundary is Big John Walsh coming on. His first run for the afternoon. Going off the ground, we find is Big Neil Wright, yes. There's the score, the Coca-Cola scoreboard, 6-11 to 4-7. So Traralgon just starting to turn it around at the 23-minute mark of the second quarter.
It's their first goal for 15 minutes.
Well, they certainly, against the wind, would like to see more, but Morwell, of course, they picked their game up midway through that quarter. The ball now off that half-back flank division. Frank Burke has it in his possession. Puts it down towards the half-forward line, looking for Campbell. It's wide of that player. McCall will come in. There's a push in the back against Kennedy, but the umpire says play on. Up it goes towards the half-forward line. That was bad luck there for Traralgon. Back their judgment, but it's Allison now running it through that 50-metre line. Gets it up towards half-forward, but nicely possessed there by Jeff Dodd.
Once again, I think it's their disposal coming down there, Graham. He had plenty of time. He should have been able to kick longer than that.
Now that's a good bit of disposal, but it could out-thwart Jennings. Yes, he's grabbed there with the ball. The umpire watching carefully. Tony Lane comes in to render assistance. Peter Henderson a free right on the 50-metre line.
Yeah, Morwell fans are cheering because I think that's the first free, that first break that's come their way for a while.
Peter Henderson right on the 50-metre line. Tony Lane sitting on the mark there. And the breeze will come left to right over his shoulder. Let's see what he can do with it. He's a good kicker, the ball, Peter Henderson. On that occasion is no exception. It will go right through, I think. By gee, that's a good goal, Peter Henderson, if it is through, and it is right through the centre. Peter Henderson's first for the afternoon. No doubt Morwell would like to see many more of those.
Well, they've only had Lowy as their goal kicker in recent weeks, and they really going to need blokes like Peter Henderson and Cole McCall, Curry, those sort of fellas to kick a few goals, correct, yes. And maybe that'll give Peter Henderson that little bit of confidence that he does need.
5 players have contributed to the 5 goals on the board for Morwell. Their Coca-Cola scoreboard tally is 5-4. That makes them 34. The 6 for Traralgon have been kicked by 5 players. The multiple goal kicker is Neil Wright with 2. The others have been Wayne Corbett, Peter Black, Tony Lane and Mark Stevenson. So we find at the moment on the scoreboard there's only 13 points the difference.
Centre square infringement there against Traralgon, went to Morwell, and now they've got a chance on their forward line again.
Ball now being hand passed out of defence, however, gives Rick Hoban the opportunity. Kerr will go to do battle with him. The bounce favours Kerr, picks it up, gets his left boot to the ball, trying to centre the ball up. The big men will fly, a bit of shepherding there is needed, and the mark has been taken right down in that last line of defence for the Traralgon side by Mark Pearce. He's been a good player, Mark Pearce. No doubt Morwell would not wish to see him perform too well for the Maroons today. Down to big Johnny Walsh. And Big John has taken it. His first possession, I think, John Mills for the afternoon. Just coming on the ground, starting off on the bench, gets 15 metres. Big John Walsh, who was named at full forward. Russell North, of course, pulling out of the side due to sickness, and Frank Burke taking his part in this game. Gets it across to Stevenson. The silly handball there is going to allow Allison to come in and try and take it away. Can't do so. There's a kick by Ashley Bond, a mid-air kick. Gets it down towards that centre wing division. Good strong mark taken over there. We see him scrape himself up off the ground, and it's Tim Robertson over there has taken the mark. Very nice, Robertson. He's taken a few good ones this afternoon, that one being no exception. IG, that's good play from the half-back line. Robert Popplestone wishing to make up for an error which gave Morwell a goal a short time ago. Up the top of the pack, good play there by Kennedy, allowing Smith to come in. Smith now, down it goes, and nicely finds Peter Henderson at the 50-metre mark.
Looking for Low.
Yes, he'll look for Low. He might make the distance, however. He made it before, and by gee, good shepherding, Peter, by Alan Lowe. Has seen Peter Henderson put his second on within, what, a minute and a half, I'd say, or 2 minutes. 27 minutes gone.
Capable of doing that type of thing, Peter Henderson, isn't it? We all know that he can pick up 5 or 6 goals a game, and he can turn a game off his own boot if he's in form.
Well, he usually likes them on the run, weaving in and out of that half-forward flank division. He knows where the goals are, and he's had 3 shots for goal this afternoon, and he's registered 2. So he's done well, and only 7 points the difference. So 6-4 to 6-11, and 27 minutes gone. We've only had, what, 4... We've had 7 goals scored, so there's probably, I'd say, the siren in around about a minute and a half for half-time. Stanistreet now trying to do something with it. Can't at this stage. The umpire will come in and recommence the game. Stanistreet, I believe, has done a lot better in this quarter and has been influential in getting that ball out of the centre. He's had 6 kicks and done a lot of hard work, I think. There's the ball, punched to the ground. Nobody can pick it up. Corbett for Traralgon tried, but couldn't. Eventually picked up there by McCall. He gets it into the forward line, the Low direction. Oh, good mark, Alan Lowe. A little bit of bad luck there for Burke. The ball floating and Lowe on the run. You can't do much with that. And he's only around about 30 metres out from goal. He won't miss this one. He's missed 1 already this afternoon. He has 1 on the board. We've got around about, well, seconds, I'd say, till half-time. And Alan Lowe, this could make a point the difference at half-time. Ready now for Alan Lowe. You can see the angle. He's running in. A familiar number 6 stamped there. On its way, it has gone across and through for 1 behind. He would not be happy with that. He allowed for the breeze, and it went as straight as a die.
Yeah, still. He made good position, took a good strong mark, and I think if Morwell can keep pumping the ball up there, it won't be long before he starts kicking a few more goals.
Well, at quarter time, they had 2 straight on the board. They've kicked 4-5 in this quarter, and we find that Traralgon have kicked 3 goals too. So certainly Morwell's quarter, but still Traralgon lead by that 1 solitary goal. Kick down looking for Campbell, can't get it because Kennedy has front position. The ground it goes, Kennedy running the ball, getting it out to David Allison. Have to go in defence slightly there. That's the brother Stephen. Stephen gets the ball with McCall, was it? As they look alike. Down to the ground it goes, half-forward flank division. Corbett will come in and do battle for Traralgon. And that particular quarter running 29 and 19 seconds, so we went far out there.
Much better quarter by Morwell.
Check the score, Pete, for half-time.
6 goals, 11 to Traralgon, 6-5 to Morwell. A much better quarter by Morwell. They kicked themselves 4 goals, 5 in that quarter, and came back towards the end there. And only with 6 points the difference now at half-time, it's interesting game.
Anybody's game, not a high-scoring game either, but what have we got? We've got 17 scoring shots for Traralgon and 11 now for Morwell, so that difference has been wavered a bit due to Morwell peppering away, especially after about the 15-minute mark of that second term. You're watching live on TV8 the 1987 Grand Final, and we'll be back in just a moment. Back with you live once again at the Latrobe Valley Football League 1987 Grand Final. It's half-time here on a very warm day at the Morewell Street ground as we find Morwell 6-5-41 to 6-11-47. Traralgon only 6 points the difference. Morwell will be going against the breeze in the third quarter, but of course will be coming home with it. So I'd imagine that Traralgon will want to put in a pretty good third quarter. Now, there's a fair bit of action happening here at half-time. There's a presentation of a Nissan Pintara motor vehicle. There's going to be a raffle drawn out here, and I'm not sure where John White is at the moment. I don't know whether he's out. John's in the rooms. I don't know whether we're going to him or out to the ground, fellas. A bit of instruction might be helpful at this moment. We're going to check on that just at the moment, but not much in the score.
Very evenly poised game here, Graham. I'm quite enjoying the game. It's good, rough and tough football, and kicks are hard to earn out there. Low scoring, but Grand Finals are often that case, aren't they?
They certainly are. Right, John Cameron, president of the Traralgon Football Club. John White speaks with him in the rooms.
Thanks, Graham. Well, John Cameron, president of the Traralgon Football Club. John, you probably should be a lot further in front. Wasted a lot of opportunities in that first quarter.
Yes, they did, John. And you've got the win. I believe you should kick the goals. But anyway, we didn't, and let Morwell back in the last bit of that quarter. But I don't mind being as close as this. I think it'll make our guys work harder, and I believe that it's better than being miles in front. So it'll make them work harder in the second half, and I'm sure that that's what they'll do.
John, a couple of costly mistakes by Popplestone and also Burke in that second quarter that resulted in goals.
Yeah, well, that's our attacking way of playing, and if they only had to come over the top and away, they would have gone. So you've got to take those risks. That's how we play. That's how they train, and that's part of the game as far as we're concerned, John.
I noticed Rowick came off, and he's been on the bench for quite a while. Is he okay?
Yeah, Russell's okay. Russell's getting a bit older nowadays, and it's a bit of a hot day, so he's decided he'll let the young blokes have a go, and he'll come on and do his bit when he's needed and when he wants to.
Lowy and Henderson up forward are causing a little bit of trouble for you?
Yeah, a couple of big long kicks there, yes. We were kicking away like that in the first quarter, and they were going all over the place, but they were accurate kicks and good kicks, yeah.
John, thanks very much and good luck.
Thanks very much, John.
Thanks, Graham.
Thanks, John White. John Cameron, president of the Traralgon Football Club. John Triumphi, manager UL, is out in the centre making some words of wisdom about a Pintara motor car, so let's cross to him.
A lot of years of pleasure to the lucky winners, Tony and Bernice Van Rossum and their family from Geraldine Junction, as well as lots of years of reliability. I'm sure also the 10 clubs who make up the Latrobe Valley Football League are going to find a very good use for the funds that have been raised as a result of selling 10,000 tickets across Gippsland, and I'm sure they'd like to thank everyone who bought a ticket. 3UL has been pleased to support the raffle and providing funds towards it, and we look forward to doing something similar again next year. But right now, to present the car, to hand over the keys, I'd like to call on Frank White, who's going to, on behalf of the Gippsland Nissan dealers, hand over this magnificent Nissan Pintara car. Well, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Van Rossum, on winning this lovely car. I hope you'll have many years of good, sound running, and I know you will. Right. It carries the full 2-year Nissan guarantee, and you'll be welcome to come to any Nissan dealer in Gippsland or wherever you are to get that service.
Thanks, Frank.
I'd like to congratulate you and hand the keys on behalf of my fellow Nissan dealers, Sale Nissan, White's Nissan Traralgon, Morwell Nissan, Moe Nissan and Warrigal Nissan.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Oh, right. On behalf of my family, I would like to thank all the Gippsland Nissan dealers, Radio 3UL, and all your good people here, and of course the Latrobe Valley Football League. Thank you.
Very happy man out there and a happy lady with a brand new motor car would be very nice.
Lovely, wouldn't
it? Yes,
Certainly
very
would.
lucky.
Anything I pick up's colds. I don't pick up anything like that. Have you ever won a raffle?
Never, Graham.
Live once again at the Latrobe Valley Football League 1987 Grand Final. It's half-time here on a very warm day at the Morewell Street ground as we find Morwell 6-5-41 to 6-11-47. Traralgon only 6 points the difference. Morwell will be going against the breeze in the third quarter, but of course will be coming home with it. So I would imagine that Traralgon will want to put in a pretty good third quarter. Now there's a fair bit of action happening here at half-time. There's a presentation of a Nissan Pintara motor vehicle. There's going to be a raffle drawn out here, and I'm not sure where John White is at the moment. I don't know whether he's out.
Welcome back to the Morewell Street ground. With me at the moment, one of the special guests here at the Grand Final, Essendon Ruck Rover, Timmy Watson. Tim, nice to see you here, enjoying the game.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. It's a typical Grand Final. It's probably a lot of pressure out there, and you probably don't see the great football that you do during the roster games during the season, but just with that extra pressure makes it a little bit tougher out there.
Tim, looking back at the 87 season for you, you only played, what, half a dozen games. You had that knee reconstruction last season. How are you feeling now?
I feel good. I mean, towards the end of the season, my knee started to feel really good again, and I mean, all I can do now is train over the summer and put a bit more muscle on my leg, which will support the knee for next season.
Pretty disappointing year in general for the Bombers.
Yeah, it was. I think you know, we played like a pretty tired sort of a side, and I think a lot of the fellas have to really have a good look at themselves over the summer. We've got a number of players that have been earmarked to recruit, so hopefully you know, things will change for next season.
Tim, there's only one straight kick in this goal, in this game rather. Who do you think can win the game from here?
I still think Traralgon look like they're going to win. Morwell came back a bit that quarter, but I think the bigger men of Traralgon just look a little bit stronger, you know, to me anyway.
Tim Watson, enjoy the game.
Thank you, Ta.
Thanks, Graham.
Right, thanks, John. Well, do you concur with that thought of Tim Watson, Peter? One champion to another.
I don't think I'm quite in the class with Tim Watson, Graham, or ever have been. But I do agree with that. I still think Traralgon should be able to go on and win the game from here. They have shown a lot, and probably more have only played half a quarter of football, and I still think Traralgon should go on from there.
Johnny Mills, what do the stats look like?
Yeah, very close in the stats. I said just before, Graham, that off air to you, that it's a bit scrambly still, and the ball travels many yards just by the pressure of the players carrying it there. For Traralgon, Mark Pearce had 8 kicks and 4 marks in the second quarter for 11 kicks so far for the game. Alan Jennings has had 9. Tony Lane's had 10, 5 in each quarter. And Jeff Dyer has had 6 kicks and 5 marks, which is a good day. And young Campbell, 7 kicks and 5 marks and 1 hand pass. Their total kicks, Traralgon, is 94 kicks, 40 marks and 25 handballs. For Morwell, Kevin Smith's had 6 kicks and 3 hand passes. Robbie Kerr, 3 kicks and 5 hand passes. Young Corbett, 7 kicks. David Ellison, 8 kicks. Stephen Ellison, 4. Brett Stanistreet, very good half, 11 kicks as usual. Cole McColl had 6 kicks in the second quarter for 7. Marty Kriegsman had a good first quarter, but only had 1 kick in the second quarter. The total for Morwell is 90 kicks, 21 marks. They're being very badly outmarked, and 32 handballs.
Okay, well, the stats don't tell us much. Some good players, Peter, as the game's just about to get underway.
Well, for Traralgon, who are leading by a goal at this stage, Graham, Mark Pearce, I think, has done very well at centre-half back. He's had Kevin Fleming taken off the ground, and he's got a new opponent now in Peter Petro. Also, Jimmy Stevenson's done well on the wing, but they're back in action here.
They certainly are. We'll keep an eye on some further good players, because Winfield and TV8 have quite a few dollars to give away, and Peter Hall, John Mills and myself have got to decide who's going to be the recipient. There's the ball coming down towards the centre wing division now as we find it over the line and out of bounds. Taken over in that direction there as it's over the line right in front of our broadcasting position. Little fella there coming in is, who is that
Corbett,
there? Young Corbett. Right, geez, a tiny little fella, isn't he? That's why young Corbett from Morwell. He's going to chase after the ball, however. Black and he go. Putting on the shoulder, Black, but the umpire let it go. Hand pass from Black. Eventually finds its way out there to Hoban. There's the ball now coming clear in the centre, and it's Morwell with all the running, and Corbett's that player. Corbett now with a right foot kick into the forward line. Who's he looking for? He's not going to find him. Dropping it to the ground there was Mark Pearce. He's certainly had some influence on this game, Pearce, at this stage. kick out of the thin air there certainly wasn't good, and Morwell still trying to take it forward. Can they get it down there? They're within about 10 metres of their goal. Alan Lowe runs forward, but it's over the line and out of bounds, right in that forward pocket division.
Good play by Corbett there to take it down the ground, right in amongst the action with a couple of hard tackles on him, but he did well to recover and get that ball down.
There's the throw in, forward pocket division. Morwell into the ground. That's against the wind. Alan Lowe picks it up, nicely smothered off the boot there by Hoban. However, he's had a bit of an influence on the game as well. Gets his right boot into the ball, but again smothered. That's the second one smothered off Hoban's boot. Silvestro makes sure that it's not. Into the centre of the ground, and Big Neil Wright obviously having a run on the ball. Opens play up with a nice hand pass across to Stevenson. Jimmy Stevenson down towards centre half forward, though, and Welsh goes up.
Sorry,
no, it's not. It's Cunico going up and takes a nice mark. Sandwich between the two big fellows there, and Craigsman and Hayes trying to spoil that effort. Nice mark there by Cunico. He's around about 45 metres out from goal, and no doubt Traralgon would like to see a few on the board, especially before half-time, three-quarter time. They have the breeze at their back.
All have made one change. David Ellison is now in the forward pocket, probably roving, and Corbett's out on the wing on Jim Stevenson.
There's the kick on its way. Not a good-looking kick off the boots there of Cunico. In fact, a shocker. It's over the line and out of bounds and won't even register on that scoreboard. Waiting now for the resulting free kick to be taken. Nothing make a coach more angry than seeing a waste like that, Peter.
Yes, Max does have to improve his kicking. It's really the only downfall of his game.
Well, he should know the wind's going left to right, and he kicked it towards the right goalpost. There's the kick to the 50-metre mark. The big men fly. This time it's Johnny Welsh. Not a good kick, John, but he gets it down towards the forward line. Coming in is Corbett. And Corbett's dispossessed very quickly. Ooh, the umpire's dynamite. A great tackle. And Traralgon's Danny Corbett. Picked up nicely by Stephen Allison. He'll get it down towards the centre wing, but it's going over the line and out of bounds before Ashley Bond can get there. Big Neil Wright is now having a run on the ball, and just wondering where Cunico is lurking, probably around that centre half forward area. No, Walsh is at centre half forward. There's the ball down towards that centre wing. Silvestro trying, gets pushed over out of the road there by Corbett. Comes out, spews its way out where Bond has a hand pass. Comes through McColl, can't do much with it. Neil Wright picks it up. Very slow hand pass, but he gets it across to Adrian Campbell. Campbell now with a right foot kick, getting it down. That's a better looking kick. That'll go very close, son, and I tell you what, it's through. Good goal, Adrian Campbell.
Lovely kick from outside of 50 metres. Beautiful kick.
Magnificent kick there by Adrian Campbell, his first for the afternoon, and a very slow hand pass by Neil Wright.
They seemed to have plenty of time, didn't they, in that situation?
I tell you what, don't show it in slow motion because it won't be moving. Very slow, but still the result was there. Neil Wright can certainly take some credit for that particular result. He's running on the ball now. Where is Cunico playing, Peter, at this particular stage?
I think Cunico's down at full forward on Marty Craigsman. Adrian Campbell's out on a half-forward flank, and Johnny Walsh is at centre half forward. So they have all their big men on there.
Well, they've got their big guns on now, and as we find the ball coming out of the centre, they've also got their skipper back on, 2 in row, but he tackles illegally, the umpire says. The free kick will go to Cole McColl. Cole McColl now, 17 stamped on his back for the Morwell side. Right foot kick. Oh, it's not a good one. Going to be picked up by the wind, but it's going to be marked over there and very north. It's going to be 15 metres too. Wayne Peters coming in underneath it. Gets crunched to the ground by Jeffrey Dyer and runs on very quickly. Doesn't wait for the 15 metres to take effect. It'll be marked by Hoban, and Hoban gets underneath it. Dispossessed on that occasion. Nicely taken away there by Burke. Gets it towards the centre of the ground. Opportunity for Jennings. Pushed out of the way by Kevin Smith. Neither can do anything with it, and the umpire will come in and bounce the ball right in the centre of the oval. 6-5-41 is the tally for Morwell on the Coke scoreboard, and Traralgon 7-11-53, 12 points in the ascendancy, 2 straight goals, the Maroons. There's the ball, down to the ground it goes. Bond takes 2 dashes at it, gets it to Henderson, breaks a tackle. Well done, Peter Henderson. He'll drop this down for Lowe. Lowe going with Burke down there. Lowe with the set. Can't mark it. The umpire watching carefully. Well done there by Burke. Over the top of the pack it comes. Burke butters up. Coming through is Lowe, but he does it well. A hand pass comes out to the skipper in row. Too slow, Russell. Hoban comes in to try and make amends. Can't do so. Was grabbed, and the umpire said free kick to Rick Hoban, and he will take it just about in the last line of defence.
Another touchy one, I think, there, Graham. There wasn't a lot in that. Rick's thrown his hands out, and he's won the umpire with the act, I think.
I can't believe how slow some of these players are getting rid of this ball this afternoon. We know the wind's affecting it, but their ball handling is affected as well. Down it goes towards the centre of the ground. By gee, that was well done, Adrian Campbell. I think he told Kevin Smith to leave it, and Kevin did just that. Out it comes looking for Stevenson. Corbett is out manoeuvred there, and a nice pass came out of the centre on that occasion as we watched Campbell put it to Stevenson. Jimmy Stevenson, a long kick into the forward line, looking for the big tall timber down there, and there's plenty of it. Picked up very nicely too by Cunico, but his kicking again lets him down, and it's over the line and out of bounds in that forward pocket for the Maroons.
So now Petro back in defence here again, Graham. I didn't think he did well there early in the game, and he looked much better up forward.
Certainly did, but still with the big guns on, I suppose they might be running out a bit of a height to look after these fellows. There's the ball coming out of that defensive area there. Picking it up is David Allison. A very quick hand pass looking for Hayes, but it was a bad one. Hayes falls to the ground. Eventually picked up there by Kevin Smith, I think it is. He's dispossessed. By gee, the dynamite there, the ump. And it's going to be Smithy who's going to feel the wrath of the umpire on that occasion. And Traralgon are going to be the recipient of a free.
Not altogether Smithy's fault. I think the handball put him in that situation.
Bad handball, wasn't it? Thought it was a red-hot coal, I think, as they got rid of it over there. Well, Campbell, let's see what he can do. He's this afternoon, he's put one through, and in fact it was in this quarter we saw a boomer from outside 50. Oh, it's a shocker. Allows Kennedy to come in and take the easiest of marks in the last line of defence. He handballs very nicely across to Stephen Allison. He's a brave man, bouncing once on the back line, but sure positive move as he gets around towards centre wing, looking for Peters. Taken away well by Jeff Dyer. He's well up from that half-back flank division. Centres the ball looking for Corbett. Can't play it. Coming through his Rowe. He's dispossessed. Play on is the call. Coming through again we find his Rowe. Petro into lender hand. Silvestro eventually. Nicely done, Jimmy Silvestro. The hand pass is wide. Looking for Corbett. Finds that player. Beautiful tackle laid on him over there. Oh, gee, they're going in like 10 pins, and the umpire says a free kick.
And
on this occasion,
isn't it? The pressure, the tackling.
Peter Henderson, half-back flank. What's he doing down there? There's the kick towards the centre of the ground. Punched away. Opportunity here for Rowe to Stevenson. Gets it nicely to that player. Jimmy Stevenson being tackled there by Henderson, but not before he gets a kick in. Down towards the big arms, outstretched down there of Cunico. Cunico pushes it across looking for Walsh. This is where their mobility is going to be tested. Gets it down nicely to Corbett. Corbett shoots and it's a goal. Well done. So, gee, that was delayed action there, but it went right through the centre, and Corbett his second for the afternoon, and in fact his first for this quarter. But a nice effort coming up at the 7-minute and 20-second mark of this third quarter, this vital third quarter. We know it's said a million times. Games are won in this quarter, and 8-11 now plays 6-5.
I think the standard of the football's picked up. I've enjoyed some of the tough tackling and pressure that's been put on, and Traralgon have run it down nicely. Adrian Campbell on the half-forward flank has been involved in both of those goals, and is doing particularly well. Good start for Traralgon.
Finding it easy to call too as it flows a little bit now, with 18 points the difference between the two sides. Big Neil Wright now. They obviously had a thought of a bit of a worry in there with Cunico, because Bond was beating him for the knockout. It's not now. Running through 50 is Russell Rowe. There's a set coming up. Gee, nearly a great mark, Walshy, but no, it was Cunico. Couldn't handle it, however. A hand pass comes out of the pack. Opportunity now for Hayes to come out and butter up. Gee, this is good play here by McDonald, was it, going through? No, it was Mark Stevenson, but unfortunately for him, the result was not what he wanted, and it was through for one behind. It was good, tough play.
Oh, very determined play, wasn't it? To throw his body there, knock the Morwell player out at the same time, keep his balance, pick up the ball, and was unlucky not to kick a goal.
Just taking a check on that Coca-Cola scoreboard, we find now 41 plays 60, and Traralgon, of course, have the ascendancy. There's the kick out by Kevin Smith, and he falls into the arms. In fact, it did fall into the arms of big Johnny Walsh. Hasn't played for 6 weeks, the big fellow, but represented the VCFL this year, so has obviously had a good season.
And has taken a few good marks since he's come on. I think he's fitted in fairly well.
Yes, we're worried about the immobility up there on that forward line for the Maroons. They're obviously not, and it's paying off, so that's good news for them. Down it goes towards the full forward division. By gee, the big hands of, who was that? That was Adrian Campbell, got over the back, couldn't hold it, however. Kevin Smith comes out with the ball, puts it wide. I think it's too wide. The umpire indicates it is, and it's over the line and out of bounds. Free kick, it's about 55, 60 metres out from the Maroons' goal. Well, to the 10-minute mark, or 9.5-minute mark of this, the third quarter, Traralgon with all the attacking. Up it goes towards that full forward position. The umpire says play on. No free kick on that occasion. Hand pass to Jimmy Silvestro. His kick is going to be wide. In fact, it's going to be over the line and out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket. 6-5 to 8-12 is the Coca-Cola score here at the Vale Street Oval. Traralgon holding a 19-point lead. Out it comes, nicely finding Ashley Bond. David Allison, you'll have to be clever, and you're not that good on this occasion. That was a bad hand pass. The ball drops to the ground, and they go on the 50-metre line. It's Petro in there. Now move to the defence area as we wait now for the ball to come back to umpire, and he will put it into action once again. That's umpire
had to break. They should have kicked long.
Yes, umpire Gavin Dorr in charge now of the Ross Faulkner right on that 50-metre line at the Traralgon scoring end. Up they go. This time Bond gets the ascendancy, gets it down to young Corbett. Corbett gets it to Allison. One bounce coming around our broadcasting wing. He gets two bounces, being chased after by Peter Black. Hasn't had a touch in this quarter, Blackie. Down it goes towards that half-forward line. Lowe's outstretched arms can't possess it. Good play here by Traralgon through the agency of Frank Burke. To the ground they go again. Hoban trying to lend assistance. Coming out of there is, again, we find the big fellow. A nice hand pass. Down it goes on the boots on that occasion of, who was that?
Donaldson.
That was Donaldson. And towards the goals. Traralgon trying to rush it away from that danger area through Tony Lane, and they do it very well. Good football, Maroons.
And a good clearing kick by Tony too. Nice and wide out in the wing, giving Alan Jennings a chance.
Pity players from both sides didn't learn that, because they're starting to muck around with it a bit again. The first probably 8 or 9 minutes was good. The last minute or two has got back into that scramble again as it's over the line and out of bounds. Half forward flank is a change. Corbett is coming off the ground for the Morwell side, and coming back onto the ground will be Kevin Fleming. Big rap for Fleming, but he hasn't spent much time on the ground, I don't think, at this stage, as Corbett is now taking his place on the bench. Coming out of the pack over there, wide on that outer centre wing division. Neither side can do much with it. The umpire says it's out of bounds, as it was dispatched on a maroon boot over there. It might have been the skipper from this wide angle that we have. The umpire will throw it back in once again.
Jimmy Stevenson has just picked up his third opponent now for the game. They've put Donaldson up onto the wing.
Well, Stevenson doing particularly well on his centre wing. Like pepper and salt, he's been in everything for the afternoon. There's the throw-in, slightly towards Traralgon's scoring zone, but just about on the centre wing. Ball hits the turf. Jennings comes in, tries to pick it up, but couldn't do much with it. Jennings, Black, and a few of the prolific kick-getters been a little quiet in the first 10 minutes of this third quarter.
Yeah, they have been, but we've had other lesser lights, probably blokes like Mark Stevenson, Adrian Campbell, who have kept Traralgon in the game.
There's the knock by Neil Wright. To the ground it goes, still under there in the scrimmage, and the umpire will have no hesitation in coming in and bouncing it once again. Well, we've gone back into the scramble. If you haven't heard, Traralgon in the reserves defeated Morwell by 53 points, and Bensdale won back-to-back third 18 premierships by defeating Morwell by 25 points. So wins so far to Bensdale in the thirds, and Traralgon in the reserves. Morwell in 1, 2s and 3s. They haven't got one up as yet. They'll be hoping that this is the time it's going to occur, and the big one. The ball again is over the line and out of bounds. Pretty unattractive football over there. I think quite intentional on behalf of Morwell, because Traralgon was starting to get their game moving.
Well, they certainly needed to stop Traralgon. We're only 12 minutes into the quarter now, and Morwell have just got to do something a little bit more.
There's the ball, high in the air, 50-metre mark it goes. Adrian Campbell and Petro fly for it. It's Petro that does better on that occasion. Falls to the ground, however. Still they go through. Neither side can get the ascendancy. The umpire says a free. It will be taken down there, and it's going to be taken by Kennedy. There's the kick. High in the air they go. Good mark by Robertson. And he's a strong pair of hands, Tim Robertson. Kicked one goal in the first, and be handy if he could get one in the third for Morwell's sake this afternoon. There's Tony Lane, been a good player too, as he gets his left boot to the ball, round towards the Jennings direction. If a bounce favours him, it'll be right, but he doesn't. He pushes it wide, looking for Corbett. Can't find that player because Kevin Smith is there for the Tigers. He gets it down towards the centre wing. A bad bounce on that occasion eluded John McDonald. Still they come. Hand passing out of trouble and then in, and now it's Petro trying to get Morwell out of trouble. Picked up in the centre by Kerr. Kerr gets dispossessed and rolled. Eventually it goes down towards the half-forward line. Good running play by Peter Henderson. Henderson will set low up here if I know him. He can't, it's wide. To the ground it goes, about 50 out from that Morwell goal. Through comes Henderson again, gets it to low. He throws the ball backwards, but the umpire lets it go. Peter Black comes in. Nicely defended here by Frank Burke. Long driving kick, and that's what they should be doing. Over the back of the pack. You're on your correct foot, Jennings, but you're not going to take that left boot. You're going to give it across here to your teammate. Nicely done, John McDonald. Round he goes, gets it back to Jennings. Jennings puts it forward. Bad kick, however, as Hayes has the opportunity as a change comes up for Morwell. The coach is coming on the ground, and off is coming Tim Robertson. And still the ball travels up and down towards the centre wing, with McColl getting underneath it for Morwell. McColl now, a change coming up for Traralgon too, Peter, if you keep your eye on it. And Ashley Bond has taken the mark right on the 60-metre line, just about in the centre of the ground.
Russell Rowe off, Wade McDonald on.
There's a nice kick too, right into the arms of David Allison on that occasion. Got away from his opponent, and he will kick from about 45 out.
I'm very surprised they took Tim Robinson off. He's done particularly well, and even the last few minutes he's picked up a few valuable kicks for them.
When the coach wants to come on, that's it. There's David Allison on its way. The kick is hanging up and is going to be a goal, and that's David Allison's first for the afternoon. In the third quarter, they move now to 7-5. That takes them to 47. 13 points below that Traralgon score of 8-12-60 on the Coca-Cola TV8 scoreboard here in the grand final, third quarter, and we've travelled 15 minutes.
Badly needed goal by Morwell. They have to keep within striking distance because it is a warm day and it's been a fiercely contested game. I'm sure the players are going to be pretty tired in that last quarter, and Morwell have to stay within striking distance.
That's the third goal scored in this quarter. Traralgon have scored 2 goals, 1. Morwell have scored just that solitary 1 goal. There's the bounce in the centre. The big men fly. Neil Wright again gets it. Takes another butter up at it. Tries to get it out to Rowe. Can't get it out to him. That's a pretty good tackle. And I don't think anyone could have got out of that. Popplestone coming on the ground again too for the Traralgon side. I even noticed that Robert Popplestone was off the ground.
Corbett.
And young Corbett is coming off. I thought he'd done all right too. So coaches, they have a way of their own, Pete, don't they? There's the ball. Peter Black picking it up high on the air. It's going to be Hayes to mark the ball with the Hall.
Oh, sorry.
No,
Right.
it is Hall.
Hayes.
And it is Hayes, is it, down there? It is Brett Hayes. Very simplistic ease. Gets it down towards the centre of the wing. Can't pick it up down there. Taken away by Peter Henderson. He's running a long way for his kicks, but he's had a few. Gets hold of it. Runs wide off the defensive centre wing division. Now he puts it high, wide and handsome. Apart from Alan Lowe and Burke, there was nobody within 55 metres of that Morwell goal, so it's certainly open. But Traralgon again to defend.
Pierce.
Yes.
Mark Pierce now gets 15 metres advantage,
Lovely
gets
kick.
it down. Petro's got the sit on this. Will he take it? He doesn't. Comes in underneath it and can't do much with it. Now we find it's Hall getting his boot to ball, but Jimmy Silvestro is in front over there on that occasion of Stephen Allison. Gets his kick back, looking for the tall timber. They've got plenty of it there. On that occasion they couldn't take it. Kennedy coming through. He fails to pick it up. Picked up by Hayes. He gets it wide, looking for his teammate. He finds him over there in Allison. That's Stephen Allison. Allison looking for brother David. Can't find him. In there is Tony Lane doing battle, and the umpire will no doubt come in and bounce the ball right on the centre wing.
Poor handball by Steve Allison to Dave. Dave was under all sorts of pressure there. He should never, ever have handballed in that situation.
Might be paying him back for one earlier, do you think?
Maybe, yes.
There's been a couple that David has let go pretty quickly. You might realise now you can't do that. Petro now does a nice hand pass to Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith high, wide and handsome in the air. Opportunity
Peter
now
Allen.
for Allen to get underneath it. And Peter Allen, the skipper of the side, has taken the mark. Was that about his second possession for the day? Yes, the ball. He hasn't been on the ground all the time, in fairness to him, but the two coaches have had no influence at all on this game at this stage, apart from any manoeuvres they may have made, I mean personally. There's the ball down towards that half-forward line, beautifully punched away down there by Mark Pierce. He's earned his money this afternoon. He's going to come across the ground and look for, and hopefully he thinks find his teammate, Jim Stevenson. He didn't find him, but he found Cunico. Cunico finds Black. You can run, son. Peter Black, the veteran of the Traralgon side. Could be his last year, but the way he's going, who knows? Right foot kick by Black up towards the full forward division. Oh, nearly a good grab there by Adrian Campbell. The umpire said play on, and it's going to be a bounce 20 metres out from the goal as Russell Rowe prepares to come back on. Or did he come back? I thought I saw him standing down here a moment ago, but apparently he's decided to... No, he's standing right in front of us here on the boundary line, Russell Rowe.
Well, that was a clear mark to Adrian Campbell.
Yes, he dropped it low. There's beautifully picked up there by Popplestone, but again his kicking started off on the half-back flank division. Had a couple of blues, ended up on the bench as a penalty, and now he's back on and in that forward line. I like to see Popplestone on a wing. That's what I like to see.
Wing, half-back. He's played very well on a half-back throughout the year. Good attacking player for that position.
There's the ball right into the arms of Neil Wright. Good strong hands. Doesn't wait for the plaudits of the crowd. Gets it to Jimmy Stevenson, who puts it down. Can't come from behind, son, and that was the big arms of Rowe there. No, it wasn't Rowe, but they couldn't take it anyway. A hand pass comes out. Opportunity here for McDonald. Gets it across here. It was Stevenson. Eventually further hand. They're getting themselves into trouble. They do. Still they go. Adrian Campbell, what can you do, son? By gee, not a bad effort, son, but not through, and 1 point is the result. Not a bad player, is he, young Adrian Campbell?
A lot of potential, being pretty keenly watched by a few of the Melbourne scouts, Graham.
Another change coming up here, and Russell Rowe will go back onto the ground, and he will change here with John McDonald. Actually, Rowe's been on and off the ground a few times, hasn't he?
He has. I think he spent most of the day running between here and the interchange bench.
There's the kick out from the full-back division. Hayes now putting it in that direction. Oh, by gee, that's a good mark,
Campbell
son.
again.
That's Campbell again. How many marks has he had, Johnny Mills?
It makes...
Might not be the quantity
Seven.
either. Seven. Might not be the quantity.
and they've been good marks.
Hardest position on the ground to play centre half forward, so they would tell you. And he is not accurately dispatched it, and it's over the line and out of bounds. Really a nothing quarter at the moment with 19.5 minutes gone. 47 plays 61, so we find 14 points Traralgon's way at the moment. There's the kick out of defence as far as Morwell are concerned, but nicely marked by Tony Lane. If you're wise, son, you'll get it well down. Tony Lane, usually a good kick of the ball. That occasion, no exception. By gee, it's crowded, isn't it? The big arms of Cunico go up. He takes about 4 bites at the cherry. The umpire disallows it. Picked up over there by Marty Craigsman. His right foot kick is wide. In fact, I think it might be on the full. It is, and it's going to be a free around about 60 metres out from the Traralgon goal. And who is going to take it right over there?
Tony Lane.
Tony Lane is going to take it on that outer side of the ground.
A lot of pressure on Morwell's defence at the moment. Traralgon's really peppering around those goals there, and each of the Morwell players is being well tested.
Very crowded, that forward line of Traralgon, unlike the Morwell forward line, not getting it down quickly enough, and it's hovering around there. But there's the ball over the line again and out of bounds as we wait for yet another throw-in. I think throw-ins would win the statistics this afternoon. 61 plays 47, the grand final. 87, opportunity there for Rowe. He gets it high, wide and handsome. Big men needed here. They're not there. Taken off the top of the pack by Jimmy Stevenson. A good goal and much needed there by the Traralgon side. Jimmy Stevenson's first. We'll have a look at that in replay. Very quick work there by one James Stevenson.
Good thinker, good anticipation by Jimmy at that particular stage.
Well, he's been down to Melbourne and he's won a Gardner medal. He should know what it's all about as fairest and best in the reserves, and that shows you why. Good quick thinking, right foot and straight through the middle, and of course came back to Traralgon from Collingwood where he was playing in the reserves down there.
Lowy's come out to centre half forward, and in fact Alan Jennings is playing on a half back flank or even a back pocket because he's back flank, I think, on Peter Allen, yes. Kevin Fleming in the ruck there.
Some of the moves, stranger than fiction, as we find now. 67 plays 47, 20 points, the ascendancy at the moment for the Maroons. Oof, coming through there, we find a free kick will be awarded, and Mark Pearce is going to take it, and to my mind, he is lining up as just about best man on the ground.
Played very well indeed.
He has. There's the kick. Oh, it's a wobbly one, but it's going to be advantage here because coming out to mark that ball is big John Walsh. Height not needed on that occasion. He'll kick from the 50-metre line. And
Very erratic kick. If he gets onto it, he'll make the distance.
He's not noted for his kicking. He's going for his pass. And, oh, that was a haymaker coming in. And good gutsy stuff over there as we find Peter Black standing his ground. And 15-metre penalty. The ump and the Morwell crowd, as you can hear in the background, are not pleased with that result. Nice little dispatch there from Johnny Walsh. Peter Black, as I think most people would know, we don't sort of say unkindly, is not the longest kick in the Traralgon side.
Oh, he'll have no troubles with this distance, Grant. He's not bad on a set shot either.
Waiting now on Peter Black. Goal from about a moment ago at the 20-minute mark to Jim Stevenson. To the 22-minute mark, Peter Black looked happy. You don't even have to wait for the goal umpire, as Peter Black has put his second through for the afternoon. He got one in that first quarter. He's got one in the third quarter, and now we find 26 points, and that's creeping away a bit.
Yeah, they are slipping away, aren't they? And that's what I said. Morwell really have to do something to try and arrest it, because I'm sure after today there's been a lot of pressure on. It would. I don't think we'll see a 10-goal quarter from Morwell like a couple of years back, Graham, in this last quarter.
1985, 27 points up. Traralgon at three-quarter time. Popplestone kicked the first goal to go to 33, and I think it was 25 points they got rolled by. Unbelievable. Can it happen again today? There's the bounce of the ball in the centre. Up they go. Traralgon side, they tell me, far better than last year and better than 85. Well, they didn't make it last year, so it's got to be. The umpire says on the shoulder by Gavin Dorr. Yeah, dynamite on that occasion. Tochi would be battling to find Jimmy Silvestro's shoulder as we find another change coming up here for the Morwell side. Pete, if you can keep an eye on it. There's the kick down towards where Kevin Smith takes it. Picking it up, it's Brett Stanistreet coming off the ground to be replaced on this occasion by Tim Robinson again, who we were surprised that had gone off. Picked up by Rowe there, can't break away with the ball. It's going to be hand passing to Petro. That's going to see Morwell momentarily out of trouble. A bad pass because it was Wright who came in, fumbled by that player, also by Jennings. Black now under pressure from Smith. Picked up there by Rowe. Too slow, but Black butted up very well, but he couldn't quite grab it. And Peter Henderson now in defence gets a long hand pass across to Petro. Jimmy Stevenson will tackle his intentions, and he takes it over the line and out of bounds on that half-forward flank. Scoreboard shows 7-5 to 10-13. The applaudits is for the gutsy effort of James Stevenson, I would think.
Tremendous chaser.
There's the throw-in right on that half-forward flank. Oh, gee. Nice big knock there by John Walsh. Missed the ball, but collected his opponent there in Kennedy. And Kennedy, I think, went to the ground, and he's having a few words with Walsh. Walsh is walking away from the scene.
It was Mark Stevenson who snapped that point.
And it's through for just one behind. The Coca-Cola scoreboard now shows 74, so that'll be 10-14 to 7-5 on that Coca-Cola TV8 scoreboard. And we have played 24 minutes. A gate. Joe Hutchison is a genius. 22,400 the gate here this afternoon. Nice bit of play there as the hand pass goes back into scoring territory. Taken away, however, by Smith. He's grabbed for too long, I thought. The umpire said no, and he'll come in and bounce the ball. Smithy says, what about a free? But the umpire says, I'll bounce the ball right on that half-forward flank. Well, Traralgon now are starting to creep away. In this quarter, they have kicked 4 goals, 3. Morwell have only managed that 1 solitary goal.
27-point lead now to Traralgon, and as we said, that spells a little bit of danger, I think, for Morwell.
27 points, an ominous figure from 85. That was the lead at that occasion, and they got rolled. There's the ball down towards the half-forward line. Low now, playing at centre-half forward. Got
Robinson,
one hand to
well
it.
done.
Robinson across there to his teammate in Fleming. Robinson again, down towards that full forward division. I tell you what, that's a goal.
That's Allen, I think.
Peter Allen kicked the goal.
Peter Allen straight through. Let's look at the replay just to check. Yeah, Peter Allen receiving the congratulations of his side there. That I would call would be a skipper's goal, Peter Hall.
It was a great goal. Actually, it was started, I think, by Kevin Fleming across to Robinson and then Robinson across to Allen. So good play by those 3 players and desperately needed.
We've got $50 to give away on behalf of Winfield for the player who kicks the most goals. And if we find that a couple are even, we'll take the player who kicked the most goals in any given quarter. If we find they're still even, well, we're going to split it up in that direction.
Sounds complicated.
Understand that?
Yeah.
Good. So we won't complicate it. Straight into our kick. There's the ball to the ground. It goes picked up by Russell Rowe. They'll have to get this back quickly. They're now 21 points in front. Smith now off the half-back line, going the wrong way, David Allison, but there was no one with him, so he had plenty of time. Low with a set and takes it very well. Oh, I don't know about that. That's an
Low is
Academy
making
Award.
sure he gets it. He's staying down for a minute.
That's Academy Award if ever I've seen it. Anyway, it's a 15-metre penalty, puts him 52 metres out from goal. A little bit too far into the breeze. By gee, it's travelled 51 of them, I can tell you. Up they go, the big men fly, nobody can take it. Nice bit of work there by Burke. Tell you what, he's hanging on to that ball for a fair time, but the umpire says it's over the line and out of bounds, and a throw-in now right in that forward pocket division. We've played 26 minutes, and in this particular quarter, we've had 5 goals scored, so it'll only be about a 28.5-minute quarter. There's the ball, down to the ground it goes, right in that full forward division. Umpire watching carefully. Morwell players desperately throwing themselves in. Hoban over the top of the ball, comes out to Jimmy Stevenson. Tackled there by the little fella Donaldson going through. Out it comes again, this time spews clean and punched over the line and out of bounds, this time off the outstretched hands of Frank Burke for the Maroons.
Well, we'll be looking for a goal here. I think it might be just about their last chance in this quarter to score.
I'd say about a minute and a half to go. There's the ball over the back of the pack, nicely rebounded there by Hoban, but picked up very nicely and shot towards goal. Won't quite make the distance for Morwell. Punch to the ground, opportunity here with a hand pass. Here's a goal coming up, Peter Henderson. He's hit the post. Boy, I saw his head go back there. He was point blank range. I think he's hit the post. So Peter Henderson would not be happy with that, as we find them go to 54 as opposed to 74. So 20 points the difference now, and Traralgon had 27, the most that any side have led during the day.
Yeah, Peter was under a bit of pressure there, but those sort of the goals are the team lifting goals, and they win your grand finals.
And he's the one that can do it too. There's the kick coming right out from that full-back division. It's going to run self-free very nicely too as they pick it up on that centre wing division. Traralgon down into the forward line. Adrian Campbell backing back. Couldn't quite mark it, however. To the ground it goes. And 28 minutes, a very short quarter, 30 seconds shorter than I would have thought. We have a break coming up. It's 3/4 time at the grand final. And Traralgon holding a 20... What are they holding there? They're holding a 15-point lead. I said 20. 15-point lead. That's 10-14-74. The Maroons, Morwell, the Tigers, 8-6-59. And we'll be back in just a moment. Back here, the voice that you nearly heard there was that of young Rowie out there, the skipper of the making what I would term, Peter Hall, an impassioned plea. There's Peter Allen, the Morwell coach. He's making more of a ferocious plea.
Well, I'm sure Russell realises that with only a 15-point break, Morwell's certainly within striking distance, and they're going to have to work particularly hard early in the quarter to make sure that Morwell don't narrow that 15-point gap.
Peter Allen making a good point there. There's no tomorrow.
It's quite true. We all know that, yeah.
What will be running through your mind now? I heard him call on Popplestone, Russell Rowe, for a bigger effort and get Johnny Walsh to jump higher. And Walshy, you told me you could win a flag. What's happening?
I think you've got to realise it has been a warm day and it's been a hard-fought game, and everyone from both sides is going to be fairly tired. Certainly Frank Burke, who's already put in 5 quarters, and he's still out there in the field doing quite well.
He certainly is.
So it might be come down to a little matter of fitness and running ability towards the end, which side can really push home their advantage.
Luck comes into it too, of course.
Yeah.
Although the better you play, the luckier you seem to get.
That's true, that's true, yes.
Okay, well, let's have a look at some good players at the moment. Pete for Traralgon. We've got Dan Campbell, we've got Mark Pearce, we've got Peter Black, we've got Tony Lane and Peter Burke at the moment. We're looking for a 3-2 and a 1 at the end of the game. That'll be certainly the players involved.
Jimmy Stevenson, I think, has got to add that to the list. I think he's played exceptionally well too.
Yeah, oh, I had Jimmy and I missed him. Sorry, yeah, Jim Stevenson. Just before we go to the Morwell players, we'll gather our minds. Johnny White is talking to Stan Morgan, Secretary of Morwell.
Stan Morgan, 15 points down at three-quarter time. Can you get up and blouse Traralgon?
Well, we're going to be trying, John. I think it's important probably that we kick at least the first couple of goals to get back into the game. Sure, they've got their tails up at the moment. If we can do that, well, anything can happen from there.
Stan, a very bad mistake by Kevin Smith in that third term, which resulted in a goal.
Yes, didn't need that right at that time. We're sort of just holding on well until then. But anyway, Kevin will make up for that in the last quarter, I'm sure.
Peter Allen was pretty upset when he just addressed the boys, told them to keep the pressure on because Traralgon most likely will fold in the final quarter.
Well, that remains to be seen, but there's only 30 minutes of footy left for a premiership, and I think that's the message he's getting across, and it's really up to the boys now.
Thanks, Stan. Good luck.
On you, John.
Thanks, Stan. That's Stan Morgan, long-time hard-working secretary of the Morwell Football Club, and these are the unsung heroes of football, these fellows, Pete. You see the players running around, but Morg's probably as exhausted and has worked as hard as any of the players today.
Oh, I can appreciate the work put in by officials. It's a big job running a football club, and Stan's a very efficient secretary.
Umpire's done a good job today too.
Yeah, they've let a bit go and given a few sort of doubtful decisions, but overall it's been a fairly good job.
Yeah, what about Morwell's better players?
Ashley Bonds competed well in the ruck, and also at centre-half forward. Brett Stanistreet tried pretty hard. Mick Kennedy, Marty Craigsman have been fairly solid defenders.
Yeah, we can't have Peter Brock, Peter Brock's just arrived at the ground, well-known racing driver, so we'll have to leave him till afterwards if he's around. Last quarter just about to get underway, and there's 30 minutes of football, and there's 20 points the difference. What more could you ask Peter Hall with the Traralgon Morwell Grand Final and a $22,000 gate? There's the bounce. The big men fly. Neil Wright did well in that third quarter and is equally well on that occasion. Peter Henderson and Tony Lane chased the ball to the boundary, and it's over the line and out of bounds right in front of our broadcasting position. Major goal scorer on the ground. Let's see who it is. No, there's a number that have got 2, but nobody at this juncture has kicked 3. The ball now is high in the air, dead centre wing in front of us. The big men fly, Bond out position there. Wright comes in, he's got experience. It spews its way out of the back of the pack to Hoban. Hoban can't break away. Rowe is on the ground. Grabbed there by Kerr, pretty strong looking tackle, and the umpire says I'll bounce it. You're right, there are some weary looking fellas there. Rowe suggesting, I think, to get up a little quicker than that and do not show the weariness.
They changed the scoreboard on us. They were showing 15 points of difference, and now it's 20 points.
That's exactly right. We better take a check of that, John Mills, if we can, or somebody.
It is right. 20 points is right, because there was a point, remember, by Peter Henderson.
So what have we got? We've got 8-6. Oh, well, of course, 54 is not 59. 8-6-54, there it is, right in front of you. The scoreboard here is wrong. Ours on the screen is right, and we welcome 3TR at this stage. Listeners through 1242 to give you the scene. Traralgon 10-14-74. They are leading at the moment by 20 points, and we find 8-6-54 for Morwell. Sorry about that error. The goals were right. It was just the tally that was wrong.
So we'd be happy with Peter Burke running it out of the back line, kicking long and out of bounds on the centre wing.
The ball, centre wing on the outer side of the ground. Morwell coming home with that breeze. Doesn't seem to have declined either, Peter Hall, at this particular stage, does it?
No, still strong.
Yes, the weather has stayed pretty constant this afternoon, and as you said before, the fitter side is going to win this, but Traralgon, of course, they've got a head start. Bit of a handicap for Morwell as Kevin Smith comes off that back line with the ball, drives it up towards the half-forward line, right into the arms there of Tim Robertson. Robertson now is about 75-80 metres out from goal, drives at about 35 of those. Big men fly but couldn't quite do it. Off the half back line we find Burke trying. Hoban is there to lend assistance. To the ground they go. That was Frank Burke, and the umpire about 30 metres out from that Morwell goal will bounce the ball.
Half a chance to Corbett there, but he was quickly collared by the Traralgon defence.
The ball now in the umpire's possession, 35 metres out from the Morwell goal. The big men fly, knocked to the ground, wide it goes. Can't break away with it over there. It'll be still play on, so says the umpire. Still they go, still scrambly football. In fact, we'll probably find it more desperate in this quarter. Bit of hand passing, finds it down there, and I think that's Jeffrey Dyer running it off the half-back flank. Ashley Bond came in trying to do something. Eventually got it across there to the little fella Corbett, who gets it down towards centre-half forward. It runs free. Opportunity here for the talents down there. Is that Kerr? No, that is Corbett down there. And the umpire, in fact, the crowd are screaming for a free. The umpire is not having any, and a bit of a wrestle takes place on that forward line.
Yes, very close. Corbett threw himself well over the ball in.
Very brave man in the grand final, 3 minutes in with 20 points the difference to give a free right in front of goal. And brave he was not on that occasion. 10-14 to 8-6. Traralgon 24 scoring shots, as you can see, to 14. So they should be well in front, but accuracy has got them into trouble, or inaccuracy, should we say. And it's going to be a throw in about 20 metres around from the Traralgon goal, from the Morwell goal. Morwell with the wind assistance in the final quarter. Up they go, the big man. On that occasion, it was Robertson rucking for the Morwell side. Got it to the ground. A bit of hand passing to Kerr. Comes out. The hand pass is not good because it's intercepted there by Burke. Burke down towards the centre wing. Oh, nearly a good grab there. Spews clear, however. Going to be taken away here by Peter Petro. Petro gets it into the forward line. Lowe is there. So too is Hoban. But it's a Traralgon mark, and it's not Hoban. It's not Lowe, but it's Jeff Dyer. Running the ball now will be Jennings. Jennings kicking to no territory at all here because it's going to be Smith. Gets an awkward bounce, however, and allows McDonald to come in. McDonald puts it to the ground. Did it well there, young McDonald. Gets it over across to his teammate. Underneath it is Popplestone. Popplestone a very quiet day today. Eventually a Morwell kick towards that full centre-half forward division. Lowe comes in, but the umpire says it's going to be a mark. It's going to be taken by Jennings. He certainly takes the big ones for a little fella, doesn't he?
Allen's played well across the half-back line in the second half.
Alan Jennings, one of the better players for Traralgon this afternoon. We must note him. Well down to that forward line. The big men fly. They've got the timber there, but roving the pack very nicely as James Silvestro bounces once. That's why he won a Rodder medal. Bit of talent, but just held it on too long as we find Brett Hayes bringing it off the back line now.
That's
Hall, sorry. Both of them down there confused me. Smothered off the boot. The umpire says free. Bad luck on behalf of the Maroons. Good luck for Morwell. Brett Stanistreet warming up to come back on. 276 or 77 games this afternoon. There's the kick back towards the 50-metre defensive line. Good mark, Johnny Walsh. And Walsh will put it back into the action area as far as Traralgon are concerned. We've ticked away 5 minutes in the final quarter. Vital final quarter. And as I said before, welcome to listeners through 3TR. Walsh's kick is long, but it's not accurate. It's 10 metres short. Big men fly. Gee, there's a goal coming up.
Campbell.
Not a bad one, Adrian Campbell. He's certainly earning his keep this afternoon. That's the second goal he's kicked for the day. He kicked one in the third quarter. Had an opportunity, and that was from 50 out. That occasion only slightly out, so his mobility and his quickness is shown on both occasions.
Been a constant headache to Morwell all day. They started with Petro on him, and he was far too good and quick for Petro, and Mick Kennedy's out on him now, and he's still doing very well.
Okay, change coming up. Brett Stanistreet, the Morwell champion, coming back on the ground, and coming off the ground we find there is Donaldson, Robert Donaldson. The ball hits the ground, centre bounce decision, punched away there by Peter Black, tripped, so said the umpire. Going to be a free kick to Peter Black for the Traralgon side. As we find now, 54 plays 80, so creeping away a little bit at this stage. The Maroons, and we've probably got around about probably 22 minutes of football left for 87. Waiting now for the umpire to bring time on. Beg your pardon, John Mill.
A little tired, Peter.
Well, I tell you what, at his age and running around, he's run around a lot of times, I can tell you. There's the kick down towards that full centre-half forward division, punched beautifully away there by the defensive ball. Running out there, Jim Stevenson. Picks it up nicely, yes, clean pick-up. Goes for the short pass. Will it pay off? It does, right down his skipper's throat over there on that half-forward flank. Just sensing that Traralgon are getting their game together.
Certainly are. Jimmy Stevenson continuing to play very well. Set up that scoring opportunity and looks dangerous. Just run out of bounds now.
Out of bounds, David Allison coming off, not moving all that freely either as Peter Allison comes back on. And David Allison, always a good contributor, and just started feeling the effects there of a bit of soreness in the leg I detected.
Yeah, you got a heavy knock in the third quarter there, which hasn't helped
Donaldson
him much.
coming back on. He's only been off 2 minutes, so he feels like a punching bag. Stevenson sends it forward. Bad bounce there on that occasion. Punched out. Opportunity for Campbell again. Can't get his kick in. The umpire says dispossessed of the ball, and it's going to be a free to Morwell. And it's going to be taken right in that last line by Peter Petro. Peter Petro needs to move it quickly. He's looking for a lead. He found one right in the centre out here. Couldn't get it, however. It's knocked to the ground. Hoban tried but couldn't. The elusive Stephen Allison tried and eventually did. Picked up by Brett Stanistreet. His kick is a scrappy one. Coming out to meet it there from that last line of defence is Peter Burke. Drops it to the ground, but it's picked up nicely again by Morwell through Allen. Up they go, and oh, that's the mark of the day. Got to be the mark of the day. Mark Pearce played an excellent game this afternoon, and that's why he is in the VCFL side year after year. There's the kick by Pearce. Could have been a bit more penetrating. It penetrated the air, but not the distance. Underneath it was right. Beautifully trapped over there, too, by Traralgon. Punching it to the ground. Stevenson, you're in trouble, son. Play on. Out of the pack it comes. Nobody can pick it up. It's Stephen Allison gets it out, but Peter Black and Kevin Smith. And the umpire says we will take possession of the ball, and it's going to be a bounce right in the centre of the ground. Well, time slipping away here for Morwell. There's 8 minutes gone in this quarter. They trail at the moment by 26 points, and we find the ball again still in the centre. This time it's going to be a Morwell free, and the umpire is going to pay it right in the centre of the ground. You're listening to and watching the 1987 Grand Final here from the Morewell Street Oval.
Taking a long time to get up to Ashley Bond.
Yeah, I think he might have received a heavy one
Tom
there.
McColl's had to take the kick for him.
The umpire has stopped the situation. How would you be feeling at the moment if you're Rowe? There it is there, coming in over the top. It was Big Neil Wright. We just saw it on our replay, and that's the result. The ball, however, now is Travis down into the forward line. Defence for Traralgon coming up. Can't do much with it. Eventually picked up, shot back towards goal. Mark taken there by Mark Pearce.
He's been a stalwart in defence, hasn't he? He hasn't let much through. Both at centre half back and now full back with his playing. He's played particularly well. 15 metres advantage for Mark Pearce too, much to the displeasure of the Morwell crowd. Tony Lane with the sit. Tony Lane cannot grab it. Henderson is with him. To the ground it goes. Grab there was Corbett for Morwell, but didn't matter. The umpire said play on. Good shepherding there by Peter Black to keep Brett Stanistreet away. Let little Silvestro through. Silvestro, down it goes towards the forward line. The mark nearly taken there, but not quite. Picked up by Rowe. Rowe handballs wide. A further hand pass gets out there to Jimmy Stevenson. He's played very well. Further hand pass down finds Wade McDonald. He sends it goalwards. Oh, gee, a goal coming up here for Traralgon if you don't muck it up, and he has. Gosh, what are you doing, son? And it's going to be that. Who was that? That was Cunico, I think. And it's going to be defended very well down there. This time by Michael Hall. That was a golden opportunity. Missed 2-1, right in the full forward division. Right, he tried to smother that ball on the ground. He should have made better of that chance.
Okay, we're not out there, and we know the pressures, so let's not be too critical. But obviously, Traralgon and Russell Rowe and their supporters would have liked to have seen it go through. The score, still 26 points the difference, 8-6-54 to 11-14-80. The Maroons leading. We've played now 10 minutes, but of course Morwell had the advantage of the breeze. The ground it goes. Kerr trying to break away over there. The umpire says dispossessed of the ball. Play on Alan Jennings. The advantage rule played. He gets a long kick, and that's what you've got to do, son. Underneath it, Adrian Campbell. The crumb gatherer is Big Walsh. Oh, gee, there's an unlikely rover. Gets the kick in. It's scrappy. Beautifully taken by McDonald. What's he going to do with it? Back it goes to Walsh. Walsh fires for goal. Smothered beautifully off the boot, but he rebounds and he puts it right through. And just sheer pressure. Sheer pressure of the attacks by Traralgon there overshadowed Morwell, and they just couldn't do much about it.
I think they're starting to wear Morwell down now. I doubt whether Morwell can come back now at this 33-point lead. Is 34 points at this particular stage?
We'll check it.
32-point lead.
32-point lead on that scoreboard. 8-6-54 to 12-14-86. 28 scoring shots to 14. So there's been 14 more scoring shots for Traralgon, and that advantage that they have is probably resembled up on that scoreboard.
Yeah, it was a good toss for Russell Rowe to win, because come the last quarter the wind advantage is affected by the tiredness of the players, and you usually can't make full advantage of that wind in the last quarter when you're feeling a little bit tired.
Waiting now for the ball back in the centre of the ground. Up they go, the big men fly. Doesn't Bond that time. He's rucked tirelessly all day. Bond done a great job. The ball to the ground once more. Out they go. This time they take it away through Donaldson. He gets it up towards that half-forward line, running free. Going to be defended here, however, this time by Frank Burke. He gets it out wide. He's looking for Peter Black. He won't find that player because Rodney Kerr is there. Kerr can't possess it. Eventually does. Does a nice hand pass out to Robertson. Robertson turns. Too slow, son. And the umpire says it's going to be a Traralgon free. He's not going to pay the advantage rule, and it's going to go back onto that half-back flank for the Maroons to take the kick.
Played well, Jeff Dyer.
He has. Jeff Dyer's put in a good afternoon. He's usually, in previous years, a full-back, half-back flanker, and he's done very well.
Nice kick.
Nice kick. Centred it up well. Actually, Dyer's dispatch of the ball has probably been better than most this afternoon, apart from perhaps Pearce. There it goes, down towards that centre-half forward division. You notice the players getting a little bit more tired now, especially the Morwell players, who are really struggling uphill now with 32
they're chasing,
points
Graham.
down.
The Traralgon players are running in front and got their nose ahead in the scoreboard. Makes it extra hard for Morwell.
We find 86 plays 54. A few people, they tell me, gave 10 goals in here for large money for Traralgon. They're going to be a bit disappointed, but whether the premiership, if they do happen to win it, is some consolation, time will tell. But still, money speaks all languages. To the ground it goes. Centre half forward. Jimmy Stevenson tried. Russell Rowe. See what you can do, son. Puts it on its way. Not good enough. Through for one behind, but he's going to get another kick. Russell Rowe has not got a goal on the board this afternoon, no doubt, and it could be his last year. Peter, have you heard of anything of that nature?
I did hear that he was going to retire as a player after this game, but that's not official, Graham. That's only hearsay at this stage.
Well, we like the rumours, don't we?
He'll be pleased to kick this goal because I think that'll make Morwell's task almost impossible.
If he can get 38 points in front at the 13-minute mark of the final quarter, I think we'd be prepared to say that it's a Maroon premiership, the first since 1980.
We're never too sure, though, are we, Graham?
No, I understand that. I understand that.
We'll let you make those comments, Graham.
Okay, okay. You think about it a bit more. Russell Rowe is, I believe, might get picked up in a moment here by the umpire. Did the umpire blow time on? Did anyone see? He did, okay, because Russell was there, so you've now blown it off because Russell Rowe was polishing his shoes, doing them up and doing everything possible. 35 metres out, Russell Rowe on its way. It's wide, Russell Rowe, and it's now only 1 point on the board. It takes them to 87 as opposed to 54, so it's 33 points the difference now on that scoreboard here at the Vale Street Oval.
Disappointed with that kick. It wasn't a particularly hard shot. It was almost straight in front and only 30 to 35 metres out.
Be very disappointed if 5 points is the difference between the two sides at the end and he's on the losing edge.
Oh, word.
There's the kick coming out right from that full-back division. Hall kicking out. Nice mark pulled down there by Big Neil Wright. Started all right, Righty, but went pretty quiet, came off the ground and has been a move around onto the ruck, but should take a few more of those around the ground. Up they go, the big men fly, but it's one of the smaller of the brigade, Peter Henderson, who takes it. He's going to give Peter Allen the opportunity. Allen led well. Peter Black is now tagging that player. The ball now is going to be taken here by Petro. He's now back in the centre-half forward division. Oh, what a try. Just about should have been an offence there, I thought, against Jennings, seeing he didn't take it. The umpire didn't think so. Picked up by Rowe. The skipper puts it down over the back of... Oh, great mark, Campbell. I think he thought at the last moment that that had gone over his head, decided to put the hand up, and surprise, surprise, the
terrific
ball
ball control, wasn't it?
It certainly was. As we find now 45 metres out. We've seen him dispatch one from over 50 today. He's got 2 goals on the board. Oh, he slipped slightly as he went. Right, gee, it's a long-looking kick coming back. It's a goal, a beautiful goal, and I'd say that is the sealer. That's come up at the 15-minute mark, and Campbell now kicked 2 goals in this quarter, a lifter in the third, which means that he now has 3 on the board for the afternoon.
Been a good player, hasn't he?
There it is. We're watching the mark again for those people watching on television, and there it is. Very nonchalant. Kevin Smith must feel very disappointed with himself on that occasion.
That's
so
John Mills, the Carlton talent scouts, just written down a few asterisks against that number 5.
As he's got to earn his money somewhere. The bounce of the ball out in the centre of the ground. The umpire puts it down. 54 plays 93. So we find a fairly big tally between the two sides. If someone could add that up, what is it? 37, I think. We'll check it out. It might be a little more. The ball now back in the centre of the ground. The umpire has the ball. We'll wait now for the dispatch.
39 points.
39 points the difference between the two sides, and I'd say Peter Hall, even you as a pessimist, would have to think that that's enough at this stage.
Looks good for Traralgon after a 7-year break between premierships, so I can't see Morwell doing anything to stop them now.
No, Traralgon are playing quite well. Since about half-time, they've just started to get the wheels rolling, haven't they? And those big fellas, and Adrian Campbell, Pearce at centre-half back, really put in, and Morwell just didn't seem to have an answer to them, did they? Hasn't been a rough game either, which surprises me, because the rumours were that it might be a bit tougher than this.
I think it's been a hard, tough game pressure-wise.
Rough, I said, not tough. Yeah. Waiting now for the ball to come high out of the air. It's going towards Morwell's forward line, but again we find Pearce. That time he missed it. Misjudged the flow to the ball. Trying to back through the pack. Tony Lane on his wrong boot. Stanistreet down the centre. Attended to there by Silvestro. Picked up by Kerr. There's 2 of them down. 2 Morwell players actually. And those bumps will start to hurt as they look at the scoreboard. Now we find them hand passing out to Kerr. Kerr's got nowhere to go. Gets it to Smithy. It's Kevin Smith.
Good play, Tony Lane.
Good play by Tony Lane. Ran it hard and smothered the ball right off the boot. And there's some portion of the large crowd here who have not left this Vale Street Oval in Moe. There's the throw-in. The big men will fly. Up they go. Punched down by Bond, but received there by McDonald. Nicely taken by Smith on that occasion. Hand pass, virtually in reverse, but it's taken away by Kennedy. Kennedy gets it high. Black backs in under the pack, as we are so used to seeing him doing. And he's hurt himself too, Peter Black. But he'll get up knowing that there's only around about 13 minutes to go, and a premiership staring him right down the throat. The ball now, half-forward flank for Morwell. There it is, high in the air. The big men fly. In fact, there's about 4 of them are going up there. Pearce being one of them. Kerr, quick hand pass, gets it out to his teammate. Picked up by Allen, can't do anything with it. Gets a kick in inches from the boundary. High they go, scrambly stuff now. Traralgon, of course, are trying to do that. Peter Black trying to run it out. Gets pushed into the ground, Peter Black, and will receive probably a fairly lucky throw.
Yes, lucky. I think he fell with that ball. I don't think he was pushed in the back at all. taking a while to get up too. He's had a couple of knocks and tackles. I mean,
those two there have started to take their toll, I think, on...
I think that's why he fell over, Graham. Got the kick.
The ageing veteran of the Traralgon side. He's going wide. He's looking for Hoban. He'll find that player right on the defensive 50-metre line out there. Running through to lend assistance. Players running everywhere. The Traralgon players appear to be running a lot freer, of course, at this stage. The ball high. Rowe missed what he should have taken. Tackled well, but strength got him out of it. Got one high, but the umpires let it go. Rowe just watches from the ground. Bounces awkwardly for all concerned. Nicely picked up over there by McDonald. That's Wade McDonald. Turns, gets it down to Walsh, I think it was. It was Dyer. Eventually get to the running Jimmy Stevenson. Well, he's certainly got plenty of run left in his legs. Down it goes towards the goal, but it's through for one behind.
Hasn't stopped all day, Jimmy Stevenson, has he? Shaping up as my choice as one of the better players.
Oh yes, he's certainly shaping up as that. He's played a great game this afternoon, and we'll have a 3-2 and a 1 after the game as the ball drops to the ground. Nicely taken away by Wayne Peters. He's a player that's gone out of the game. Tony Lane's played very well on him. Into the centre of the ground. Free kick will be taken here by Peter Allen, and that one on that occasion against Jennings. Peter Allen, skipper of the Morwell side, can see this game slipping away from him. Gets it down to Alan Lowe. Lowe this afternoon has kicked only one goal. He's had about 4 or 5 shots. Taken away nicely. Umpire watching as the ball travels down towards the centre of the ground. Hits the turf. Bounce awkwardly over there. McDonald goes in to give assistance to Black. McDonald gets the ball, hand passes to Black. Black turns away from Kennedy. The kick is not long. It goes down towards the half-forward line. Stevenson will shepherd to allow Campbell in. Campbell thumps it in beautifully into Silvestro. Silvestro quick to play on, slams it towards goal, and has put it right through for 1 pointer.
We'll get a free kick for that. That's all.
Yes, the umpire might. He's coming back. Let's take a check on it. He might give him another kick as a change comes up. Russell Rowe is off the ground, and coming back on is Wayne Corbett for the Maroons. And it is going to be a free kick. It's no point.
You didn't see that, John? Did you see that?
Yeah, knocked down after he kicked the ball.
There it is again. Well, they're coming up now in our replay for those watching. Jimmy Silvestro gets rid of the kick and bang, down he goes. Just out of camera shot, but the umpire obviously not taking his eyes off the action.
Hurt Jimmy a bit too. He's a tough little player and he's feeling the effects of that knock.
I remember once down at Leongatha a number of years ago when you were coaching the Maroons. Once he received one down there, I didn't think he was going to get up from for a week, but he's a pretty tough little fellow, is Jimmy Silvestro, the dual Rodder medalist. He has not done any better, I don't think. No, he hasn't, and 1 point is the difference, so it's now 41 points, the difference between the two sides, and that surely should be enough.
I think so. Jimmy's worked very hard throughout the game. Hasn't been absolutely sensational. I don't think he would have picked up umpires' votes if they were giving votes in this game, but he's been a good player.
Well, he's always burrowing in under the pack, and we find the ball hitting the turf there. Before it does, it's into the arms of Walsh. Just, I think, seeing our time now. It's 20 minutes and 43 seconds have gone. High into the area of the full forward division for the Maroons. Handball out to Popplestone. Very quiet play today. But he might have put in a bit better, Millsy. Millsy and I had a bit of a talk about that last night. There's the hand pass coming out to Peter Black. His kick is high, it's wide, and it's going down where Campbell will get underneath it. Taken away nicely by Brett Hayes. Hayes gets it out looking for McColl. McColl is not in possession, and it's over the line and out of bounds.
Very tired-looking Cole McColl. Just battled it across the line. Didn't make a lot of effort to try and gain possession of that ball.
Okay, there's the ball now thrown in. Traralgon's half-forward line. Matty Craigsman faded too after half-time. There's the ball, put in a very good first quarter. The umpire watching carefully as Corbett comes in, trying to take it away. Craigsman tempting to get hold of it. Good decision, and it's taken away there with a free kick to go to Allison. Stephen Allison gets it across there to the running Hayes. Brett Hayes gets it around towards centre wing. They fly. It's all Maroon territory, and Neil Wright has taken the mark. How many of these players were in the 1980 Premiership, Peter Hall?
I'll go through and count them up for you later, Graham. There's probably 7 or 8 new additions to the side, though.
Waiting now for the ball down towards that centre half forward division, and nice mark again has been taken down there, this time by John Walsh. The big timber now that we thought might have been a problem, they've used it well, haven't they? No, they've used it well, I think, because the later in the day, the bigger they get.
The big blokes, I think, are just taking marks, holding up the play now, not forcing the running game.
There's Walsh from 45 out on its way. Nice looking kick. It'll drop about 3 metres short. Push in the back there. The umpire said play on, and it'll be a bounce of the ball right in the 10-metre square.
A free kick or a mark, one or the other, didn't it?
Well, I thought it was. And who's that underneath the pack there?
It's Rick Hoban.
That's Rick Hoban, and he won't be feeling any pain, I can assure you. Pretty tough fella is Rick Hoban. There it is there. Thought he'd marked it. The umpire said play on. There it comes out of the pack. Shot for goal by Corbett is close, but not close enough, and it's through for yet another behind. So that's 96 now, plays 54. 42 points, the difference between the two sides, and we've played 23 minutes. And are you prepared to concede now that it is a Traralgon premiership?
Yes, Graham. Traralgon will certainly win from here.
You're always a brave man. That's what I like about you. Courage of conviction, Pete. John Mills, are you as brave as that?
I think we've got a good chance from here on in.
Okay. There's the ball now, going out towards the outer half-back flank division. Nicely contested there by Walsh. He seems, after 6 weeks layoff, he seems to be running harder at the end, and they started him on the bench. They've used him carefully and used him wisely. And now we find the ball, again, is down in that back pocket division for Morwell, out of bounds on the full. There's the kick. Out towards the outer half-back flank division. Over the top of the pack it goes. Some pretty tired players here. Probably the only disappointed player from Traralgon's point of view will be Russell North, who had to withdraw from the side. As we find a kick towards goal, is out of bounds on the full. Interesting point that Frank Burke, who played half in the seconds, got a medal for the second 18 premiership, and now will receive a medal for the senior 18 premiership.
Good effort, isn't it? I see Russell North here just before three-quarter time, so
he'd be happy for the team, but obviously he must feel disappointment for himself.
I think he missed out on the 1982, so such a good player to miss out on playing in a winning grand final is extremely bad luck for him.
And was very injured in 85 too, and didn't really contribute to the loss there. Well, probably did contribute to the loss if you want to use the corollary of that. There's a kick towards goal coming up, a nice one too, right off the boots on that occasion of Wade McDonald, and he has kicked his first for the afternoon, and if that hasn't sealed it, nothing has. So it's all over here, bar the shouting at the 25-minute mark of this, the final quarter. And
now we see Russell Rowe just popping out of the box and still urging the players on. He wants them to keep going right till the final siren.
Well, obviously he does. 14-18 to 8-6 is the tally, and it's now going to be 14-18 to 8-6. 54 would play, what, 102, I think it is. Look at the Mammoth scoring shots, though, 32 to 14. In this last quarter, Morwell have remained scoreless, and Traralgon have put on 4 goals 4. So there's the difference, and that's against the so-called breeze, Pete.
Yes, tiredness. They've been chasing all day.
There's the ball out wide, and they're still chasing too. The ball is coming towards the outstretched arms of Peters, who takes it over the line and out of bounds. His body was over, so too was the ball, and it's going to be a throw-in right on the half-forward flank division for the Morwell side, final quarter. Russell Rowe, as Peter Hall has just said, is just poking his little nose out of the box there as Brett Stanistreet sends it down towards that half-forward line, looking for Lowe, finds that player. That player gets it to Petro. Petro shoots for goal and has put it through. Nice goal. Oh, he mightn't have put it through. Touched. Right on the line. Right, gee, that floated. It seemed to be going back, didn't it?
When the ball isn't running your way, nothing goes your way, does it?
That's right, and we're into time on right now by 42 seconds. We've had, what, 4 goals kicked this quarter, 2 minutes of time on, so let's say about 27.5 minutes. It will not be a long quarter, and that's unfortunate for Morwell, as we find the umpire giving a free kick to the Morwell side right on that half-forward flank. There it comes towards this centre half-forward division. The mark has been taken by Mark Pearce. Great effort, Mark Pearce, at centre half back today. I'd like to know his stats, and afterwards we will find out. There's the kick. High, wide, and handsome down towards that centre. Jimmy Stevenson, spectacular mark over there. And boy, I tell you what, he's got to be vying for best player on the ground as well. Down it goes towards the centre wing division. Intercepting there is Stephen Allison. Gets it across to Cole McColl. Cole McColl with a left foot kick down towards the half-forward line. Has found his teammate down there, and that's Tim Robertson.
Quite a good game, too, for a young fella in his first season of Trove Valley football.
Certainly has. He's put in all the way. The ball now. Every time I see Mark Pearce, I think of Tom Beveridge, because that number 7 was worn with a glide of distinction. But that's Pearce, not Beveridge, getting it out. Beveridge is retired. Gets it out to Hoban. Hoban will look for a running player. Can't find one, so runs himself off that half-back flank division. Long right foot kick, only to find the running body there of Stephen McColl it was, and that's why I hesitated. By gee, they look alike, and it was McColl, but coming off the back line is Alan Jennings, down towards the outstretched arms of Adrian Campbell, and I tell you what, he's not far behind either. Has played a spectacular game. The big men fly. Johnny Walsh comes in trying to butter up, can't do so. Silvestro is under the ground, and Silvestro probably a fairly lucky free, I would think.
Yeah, right there fighting hard for the ball, though. And up he goes again.
They don't seem to take much notice of that these days, the ump. There's the ball on the ground. That is a pretty wild kick, but I don't think he'd worry too much about it now. Young Wayne Corbett, he's had a big year too, coming from Morwell East, making the Latrobe Valley side against Bendigo early in the year, so obviously has been a good player.
Yeah, he's an impressive player, isn't he? Got good pace, good
Probably
ball sense.
one of the few true rovers playing Latrobe Valley football today. There's the ball up over the back. The umpire says a push in the back, and who's this going to? It'll be a Morwell player, and it's Wayne Peters. He's a tall player for a centre winger. Started up at centre half forward for Morwell early in the year. Nice markers taken there by Bond. He's played very well today too. Hand pass, but it's in reverse. Finds Kerr. Kerr to Bond. Bond to Allen. They're just sort of going through the motions now at the 28-minute mark. And that siren is going to bring all the pain, and that siren is going to come fairly quickly. Coming through the pack there was Peter Henderson. Out there trying to pick it up is Robertson. Can't do so. Nicely taking it away is young Frank Burke. Burke gets it out wide. Finds his teammate out there. Wide they go. That was Mark Stevenson. Actually, him and Jimmy do look a bit alike too. But he's easy to pick up, Jimmy, because he's always got the ball. Wide on that boundary line. Turns. Bounce. Somebody's yelling out, kick the ball. He'll do it when he's good and ready. And the umpire, he went
down the ground.
The umpire went down as players tried to run through, but that was not the offence. The offence was, doesn't matter much. There's the siren, and Traralgon have won their first premiership since 1980. And in 1980, who was the coach at Traralgon in that year, Peter? Yourself. So you would remember it well.
Well, I've done it much the same way. First and reserve premierships today. 80 we had first, seconds and thirds. So it's been a good day for Traralgon.
Certainly has. Is that kick going to be
Come
taken?
the other way.
I don't think Adrian is bothering to take the kick.
He's not going to take it. Okay, he's not looking for percentage, obviously. So let's have a look at 14, 19, 103. 14, 19, 103 is the final tally. So what's the difference
48.
there? 48 points. Well, they certainly went ahead in the last quarter. Morwell were 1 point. That's all they scored. To Traralgon's 4 goals, 5. You're waiting for some best players. Okay, let's do them quickly, Peter. The Winfield best player will receive $250, and I think that I'm going to go for Jimmy Stevenson.
Graham, I'd go for Jimmy Stevenson as my vote, just very marginally ahead of Mark Pearce and Adrian Campbell.
Yeah, you got
3 excellent players.
from me there. What have you got, John Mills?
Almost the opposite way. Mark Pearce, Adrian Campbell, Jimmy Stevenson.
Okay, now let's see how that works out. Does that change the money around? Do the 3-2-1, Millsy, would you? 3
to Mark Pearce, 2 to Adrian Campbell, 1 to Jimmy Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm just worrying about that second vote to see if it changes the money, because we're talking about 125 or 75. Could you do it for us, Pete, to see how it worked out?
Mark Pearce had 3 from John Mills.
Yeah, and 2 each from us, so that's 7.
Jimmy Stevenson had
6 from you and I, and 1, so he goes 8. How much in it is there?
7.
7, sorry.
And Adrian Campbell had a 1, a 1 and a 2 for 4.
For 4. Okay, so we've got a tie there, Mr. Hayden. What do we do? And as you... I think you've got to break up the $375 between the two of them, and 400 between the two of them, correct? And 50 for Adrian Campbell. Okay, sorry to confuse you there, but Mark Pearce and Jimmy Stevenson. Okay, we'll take a commercial break and we'll be back in just a moment.
Look what East Gippsland Home Improvements and Flexilum can do for your home. Buy now and until the end of May, you can have Nature Light translucent dome skylight panels fitted at no extra charge. If you've always wanted awnings, carports, indoor-outdoor rooms or screen enclosures, here's your chance. Phone East Gippsland Home Improvements now and inquire about this great offer. Nature Light translucent dome skylight panels fitted at no extra charge. Phone Roy Key at East Gippsland Home Improvements. Don't delay. Phone 051 497 285.
Hi, I'm Peter Brock, and this is my new Group 3. It has performance, handling and styling unmatched by even the most expensive European cars. This and the entire range of Brock cars are now available from Massaro Motors and Morwell, Gippsland's only authorised Brock dealers.
The fabulous HDT Group 3, only available at Massaro Motors, Princess Highway, Morwell.
My company builds excitement and Massaro Motors sells it.
Shademaster offer you the personal touch around your home, outside too. Shademaster's new colour range in aluminium awnings is a decorator's delight. Roll-up awnings in single and combination colours. The fixed-style, fully waterproof Kingston. The versatile Caribbean to meet any shelter demand. Trinidad, rigid style with adjustable louvers with a new range of long-lasting decorator colours. It's the personal touch outside.
Available from Evan Evans Blinds, Eastern Road, Traralgon. The new 10-pin bowling season is starting again at Morwell 10 Pins. Come on, regardless of age, from 6 to 96. You'll love bowling. It's easy and so much fun.
Go on, get your body into bowling.
Well, there's two good, there's one good sight and one bad one, of course, after every grand final, and you're looking at the good, happy people there. They're the Traralgon crowd out there, and no doubt Russell Rowe will be fairly happy. He's tried for a few years. He's been around at Traralgon for 3. He made it in 85 and got rolled, and an unbelievable turnaround in the final quarter. Didn't make it last year. I thought he wore him out in the rooms beforehand, to be quite blunt, in that game at Sale, and now we find, of course, that he's come up with a premiership. Peter Allen, 2 years here, 2 grand finals, no premierships.
Yeah, well, we can feel for both of those sides, but certainly a lot of the Traralgon boys have worked very hard and have been up there for years, and I think they deserve to win today. Had a very good season, only been beaten once by Morwell in very heavy conditions.
Dick Cugley is giving out the medallions to the losing side at the moment. They're the TV8 medallions. TV8, Southern Cross sponsor these medallions each year, and I don't suppose Morwell, they'll just throw them in a drawer when they get home, but obviously I see Smith, Alan Jennings and Kevin Smith exchanging Guernseys there.
Yeah, 2 very good players for each of their clubs.
Well, they certainly were, and there's a lot of action going on as we see them going out. And there's Marty Craigsman. He tried pretty hard. Big crowd around there. 90% of them have beat Traralgon, of course. Young Wayne Peters started off pretty well, but died a little bit.
Took him away from the wing, I think,
yes,
and put him down in the
on
forward line
the half
there.
Forward line, I think.
Yeah.
There's a young fellow, young Tim Robertson, who I thought did very well, just receiving his medallion.
Well, he certainly would have been amongst Morwell's best players, and he impressed me. For a young kid to play well in a grand final is a really good effort.
Right, we're just waiting now on the victorious side from Dick Cugley, the president of the Travelling Football League, and Joe Hutchison. Harvey Pinter's out there, and also to Mark Woods, hierarchy of the league, doing the job, and I think they should be commended on their presentation here today. We had Paddy O'Dowd's band, and we had helicopters coming in, and here they go, the Traralgon side. They'll get the rousing. Johnny Walsh and Jim Stevenson played extremely well.
Oh, yes, really gutsy game.
Adrian Campbell, what a game he played too for a young fellow, his first premiership. He's only first grand final, I would think, in the seniors.
Terrific effort by Adrian. Marked very well, didn't he? He had 3 or 4 opponents throughout the day, and I think he beat every one of them.
Mark Pearce
makes a habit of being in winning premiership sides, doesn't he?
Yeah. And Poppy would be a bit disappointed with his performance today, but happy with the medal and the victory. It's all a team job, isn't it?
It's the satisfaction, playing in a winning team. It's not the individual awards that are important.
We might have seen the last of Neil Wright, too. Peter Black got Stephen Ellison's Morwell Guernsey on. So Jeff Dyer played a good game, too, as he goes out.
Had a good season. He's really developed as a player over the last couple of years.
And there we find Jimmy Silvestro wearing Robbie Kerr's Morwell Guernsey.
Justice, 2 True to Wood and Ryder medal winners. In fact, they've won 3 between them in the last 2 years.
Cunic has changed his 22 for a Morwell 22. Now we find Tony Lane coming out, the left footer on the wing, did very well. Peters, I think, had to be moved away from him. I don't think that'd be unfair.
Mark Stevenson, very handy player too, one of the new players for Traralgon this year.
Played very well, got a bit more height than Jim by the look of it. Going out there we find is Peter Burke, later acquisition to the Traralgon side from Sale, and has done very well.
Played against big names in Lovelace and Lowe and done really good jobs on both of them.
Yeah, they certainly have, as we find the players hugging their loved ones.
It's Pauline, Jimmy Silvestro's fiancée, getting a big hug there.
I hope it's his fiancée, is it? It's on television, so I hope it is. Just waiting now on the Premiership coach to be the Premiership Cup, I should say. We're waiting on the Stan Aitken medal. Campbell got the Stan Aitken medal, so we weren't far out there. We've given Stevenson the best on the ground. Jimmy Stevenson. I've got a bit confused there. What was that? That was...
I'm not sure what the
that's the medal he's getting. Jimmy's getting the medal, Graham.
So he is actually getting the Stan Aitken medal.
Jimmy's won the Stan Aitken medal.
Right.
I'm not sure what Adrian's award was.
I think he got the umpire's vote, Campbell. This is the award from TV8 and Winfield going out now. We couldn't split Jimmy Stevenson and Mark Pearce because of John Mills's way of calculating things. And Mark Pearce and Jimmy Stevenson taking the awards out. They split up $400, so that'll probably go on the bar today, or they're a bit tight.
Yeah, the three of them, I think there wasn't much between Adrian, Jimmy and Mark Pearce, so I thought clearly the three best players on the ground.
I don't think anyone would dispute that, would they?
Excellent.
Right, we only have a few minutes. We have about 6 minutes to go, and I'd like to run through a few of the stats here. The final scores, incidentally, 14-9-103 and 8-7-55. So it was a 48-point victory. Traralgon led by 15 at quarter, 7 at half, 20 at three-quarter, and 48 at the end. So they led all day, and I suppose they've been vindicated in that position by taking out the premiership.
Morwell's run came in the second half of the second quarter, but apart from that, Graham, they didn't look positive all day, did they?
I find that another award has gone to Adrian Campbell out there. He's certainly done very well for himself. Let's have a look at the goal scorers.
That was the goal kicking award.
Right, the goal kicking award will go to Adrian Campbell. Oh, that was the goal kicking, was
yes,
it? To Adrian Campbell, who kicked 3 goals, and that's $50 from Winfield. So he's done very well also as well.
He's had a great day, hasn't he?
Well, he's picked up his 100, so he can't complain. Goal kickers for Traralgon were John Walsh kicked 1, Jimmy Stevenson 1, 3 to Adrian Campbell, Wayne Corbett kicked 2, Peter Black kicked 2, Neil Wright 2, 1 to Wade McDonald, 1 to Tony Lane, and Mark Stevenson 1. There's Russell Rowe kissing the cup. They go back to 2 years. He wasn't looking as happy as that, was he, Hawley? And I think...
Well, we believe this is Russell's final game as a player. He said that he would retire. So he'd be particularly delighted to finish on such a good note.
Yes, and his wife Sue, she'd be fairly happy too, I imagine. Can we pick up Russell Rowe or not on the PA?
It's always easy to talk when you win, and I commiserate with them all. I know how they feel. I felt like it 2 years ago when they ran over us in the last quarter. I'd just like to thank them for the game. She was a hard-fought game in the three-quarter time, but I knew this year that we had the personnel there. And personally, I'd just like to thank everyone at the Traralgon Football Club. We've had our ups and downs. I've upset a few people. I've stood on a few toes for one reason, and that's to win a premiership. We've done that. Thank you very much.
That's Russell Rowe, the skipper of the Victoria's side. I just finished the goal kickers. Morwell, Henderson 2, Alan Lowe 1. That'd be a disappointing performance in Alan's mind, I would think. David Allison 1, Peter Allen kicked 1, Peter Petro 1, Robert Donaldson 1, and Tim Robertson also got 1. So that's the situation there. And in the reserve 18, it was a win also to Traralgon. They defeated Morwell by 53. Bensdale defeated Morwell in the thirds by 25. Not a good day for Morwell. We'll be back after this break.
Let Oil City Office Systems take care of your copying business.
The best players, the Winfield TV8 best players, have been, of course, Mark Pearce, Jimmy Stevenson, Adrian Campbell. You could go right through them. And we have White... my ear is going here. John White has Russell Rowe.
Your last premiership, how does it feel carrying that cup around?
Fantastic, mate. You know, as I said to you on Friday, I think, you know, I've worked so hard. I really have worked hard, and I know the players have really backed me in the hill, and we got the results today. You don't know really how you feel. I just feel fantastic. You know, I've come out with a few tears, and I'll have a lot more by the end of the night.
Russ, have we just seen you play your last game?
Yes, definitely. That's it. My boots are burnt. And that's the best way to go out. I've played since I was 9. I've enjoyed every moment of it. I've enjoyed that many friends I've met, especially when I've come to Latrobe Valley. And I've had a good career, and that's it for me, yes.
Will you be coaching again next year?
I want to coach, yes. That's up to Traralgon if they want a non-playing coach or not. But yeah, I love footy and I won't be out of it.
Russ, I guess we shouldn't pick anyone out in particular, but Peter Black, what a great veterans game he played today.
Oh, well, I realised as soon as I come to the club, they told me about this Black, and he never done pre-season. He was a little bit lazy. But I knew when he got on the track and when he got on the field, he'd give 110%.
What's in store for you this evening?
Oh, we're going to get mighty drunk.
Good on you, Russ, and
Mark
hearty
Pierce,
congratulations.
19.
Thanks very much, and I'd just like to thank the media, you know, especially TV8. They've really given me a lot of support. They really have, and you, John, and everyone. I think country football has got to improve and got to kick on if we've got the media around. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
Right, thanks, John White. That's all we have time for. Mark Pierce was the major kick getter on the ground and did it very well. Just repeating, Traralgon, their first premiership since 1980 under the direction of Russell Rowe, and Peter Hall. You took them to the 1980. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you, Grant. It's been an enjoyable afternoon.
Thank you to Johnny Mills, and thank you to all the people you see coming up on your screen. 3TR, if you're still with us, we hope you've enjoyed the last quarter. And Graham Eddy signing off from the Vale Street Oval from the 1987 Grand Final, and the victorious side, Terrell.
Gripping entertainment, compulsive weekly viewing.
Lawyers, you all stick together, don't you?
Does a chicken have lips? LA Law, 8:40 Thursday on Channel 10. Thursday, tensions explode on Dallas.
Are you going to bring him into this house? Because if that's the case, I'll be moving out here.
As far as I'm concerned, the baby will never know your name.
Jenna pays out on Bobby, while Sue Ellen turns on the charm.
With your world as tough as it is, you need a little amusement.
But she has a new rival.
You could use an ally. One with more feminine ammunition.
It's too late. The mission goes on.
Dallas, now 9:40 Thursday on 10.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday Night at the Movies on Channel 10, Melbourne's #1 movie station. Over the coming weeks, you'll see some of the finest in motion picture entertainment. And tonight, that tradition continues when we present Robert Mitchum in A Killer in the Family.
Super wipes and wiped up this spilled gravy with one of them. Then we rinsed them both. And asked Bozo, who has one of the best noses in the business, to see if he could pick which one wiped up the gravy. He couldn't. The special double-action hose in Chuck Super Wipes mean that they're always fresh because they rinse thoroughly clean every time. And now Chuck Super Wipes have been improved so they also last longer.
What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm trying to feed Hurdle.
He's not eating anything. You're probably freaking him out with all that noise.
Donna, that's not noise, it's Mozart. Donna!
Turtles aren't into Mozart, they're into rock and roll. They even named a 60s group after them.
Turtles are not into rock and roll. I'm not into rock and roll. Mozart stays on.
Landlord says so, right?
Right. By the way, it's your turn to cook tonight.
Oh, well, that's what I meant to tell you. I forgot to buy the groceries on the way home.
Oh, great. So who needs a diet?
From your nearest Janome retailer. With Janome, you don't have to be an expert.
Hey, how could she resist this face?
Big match inexperience cost the Gippsland Lakers a place in this year's SEABL Grand Final. Leading by 9 points with 6 minutes left, Lakers made a number of crucial mistakes, allowing title holders Ballarat to sink a last-minute basket to win. However, Ballarat's hopes of back-to-back titles were dashed by Bulleen, with an emphatic 27-point win in the Grand Final.
After a slow start due to finals nerves, Lakers began to find their rhythm, with the side's height dominance worrying the Miners. Trailing by 3 points at quarter time, Gippsland blitzed the defending premiers in the second term, with bench player Mark van Dijk teaming with Bill Jones to take the side to a 5-point lead at half-time. In the third term, both teams' three-point shooters staged an epic battle from the line, hitting some brilliant shots. Going into the championship quarter, Lakers held a slim 5-point gap and looked on track to the grand final when the lead blew out to 9 points with 8 minutes left. Ballarat then lost star American Eric Cooks when he was ejected from the game, but Lakers' Donnie Gibson soon followed with 5 fouls. Gibson's departure seemed to spark panic in the Gippsland team, with its lead quickly whittled away as it made fundamental errors. The lead changed 5 times in the final minutes before the teams were locked together at 112 points each, with just 10 seconds left on the clock.
They want one shot, 27 seconds left on the clock.
Then, with Gippsland supporters' hearts in their mouths, Ballarat's Craig Gilbert drove to the basket, making the 2 points and sinking Lakers' 1990 title hopes.
5 seconds left. They need a prayer from Lee. It misses. Ash has got the ball. The Miners are in the final.
Best for the unlucky Lakers was Bill Jones, who gave an awesome display to win the Best Player award. Darren Pearce and Mark van Dijk also had solid games. After the game, Lakers coach Ken Flanagan announced his resignation after 2 years in charge. In Sunday's grand final, the Miners proved no match for Bulleen, who, after trailing at quarter time, were never troubled by Ballarat, who seemed tired after the match against Gippsland. Bulleen won the match 128 to 101. Matthew Smith, Southern Cross Network News.
1,000 boxing fans packed Bairnsdale's Boucher Hall on Saturday night for East Gippsland's Fight Night. Bairnsdale's junior boxers dominated the ring, adding weight to Bairnsdale's claim as one of the best amateur boxing clubs in the country.
The fans turned out in force to cheer on their local boys, and it didn't take long for victory. 13-year-old Shannon Morgan took the points over Tasmania's Adam Woolley to give the Bairnsdale Amateur Boxing Club the first of 4 wins for the evening. Rodney Mears of Traralgon, the Australian schoolboy champion in the 36-kilo class, faced Bairnsdale's Brent Harvey, current Victorian champ. In a top-class fight, Harvey took a split decision and will now challenge for an Australian title. Bairnsdale's coaches Mick Croucher and Neil Reynolds again found success in the third bout, with promising youngster Kurt Ryan outpointing Albost's Brendan Farley after Farley had 2 standing counts against him. Traralgon's Paul Rudd suffered a similar fate at the hands of Bairnsdale's skillful George Dean, giving Bairnsdale a quadrella. In the 50-kilogram class, Bairnsdale's Damien Morgan was going for an Australian title, but faced a rugged Tasmanian southpaw in Dwayne Bugg. It was an often roughhouse affair, but Bugg took the points. The success of the juniors has brought further prestige to the Bairnsdale club.
They've got good trainers, Mick Crouch and Stiffy Reynolds. Excellent trainers. Bairnsdale's probably one of the best amateur boxing clubs in Australia at the present time.
3 other exhibition bouts were staged, and Bairnsdale's Brent Harvey won the inaugural East Gippsland Golden Gloves Cup for Best Boxer on the night.
We're very, very happy up here for a grand final night. We didn't expect as many people, but the last count was over 1,000.
Timothy Lee, Southern Cross Network News.
But the bout that set the crowd alight was the football grudge match between David Dasher Morgan of Swan Reach and Terry Fearless Freeman of the Benambra Club. After 3 torrid rounds, it was Freeman who took the points in what's set to be an annual event.
It had all the atmosphere of a title fight.
Beforehand, David Dasher Morgan, representing Swan Reach Football Club, thought he could smell victory already with a dose of smelling salts, while Terry, the fearless one Freeman from the Benambra Club, was equally confident. Amongst the packed crowd, some fans made their allegiance clear, and the cheers almost lifted the roof when both boxers, weighing in at 82 kilos each, emerged. 27-year-old Freeman was listed as having had 10 fights for no losses and no draws, and for 42-year-old Morgan, credited with only 7 losses from 150 fights on the 10th circuit from Bairnsdale to Darwin, first time in a proper ring was a novelty. From the opening bell, Dasher's prediction of victory inside 30 seconds was quickly dashed, but in the second, his left hook kept missing, while Freeman's left jab did not, and after a late flurry from Fearless, the bell couldn't come soon enough for Dasher. Both corners gave their fighters advice. In the third, Dasher's age and lack of fitness was beginning to show. And as the bell sounded, he landed one more for good measure. The decision, 3-1 in Fearless's favour, and he showed his delight.
Once I got a few on him, though, he dropped his gloves like I thought he would, and just a matter of picking him off then, but we ran out of time, so unfortunately we couldn't drop him.
Dasher admitted he'd run out of puff.
Yeah, second round I thought I had him, but last round I ran over a little bit of puff. He came over top of me.
Look at him. Not bad for 42 though, is it?
Got a pretty good go. Maybe next time I'll beat him.
Declared an outstanding success, the football grudge match will be an annual feature. So for Dasher, there's always next year. Timothy Lee, Southern Cross Network News.
Well, rain tonight, clearing tomorrow. Celine returns with the outlook after the break.
Hi, I'm Graham Hodgkinson of Hodgkinson Ford in Warragul, and with fuel prices rising daily, we will help you curb your running expenses. So in the month of October, Hodgkinson Ford will offer dual fuel conversion, free of charge on any used car. That's right, we will install LP gas on any used car purchased this month. Save hundreds of dollars in running expense. Buy at Hodgkinson Ford. Hard to pronounce, easy to deal with. Open 6 days a week at Queen Street, Warragul.
Now you can update your furniture in every room with great ideas from First Choice Furnishing's Spring Catalogue. Treat your home to a beautiful lounge suite, discounted to suit your budget. For the dining room, these cottage settings are also perfect at special spring prices. Sofa beds, bedroom suites, even mattress and base sets have all been reduced. Yes, it's time to update your furniture this spring at First Choice Furnishings. What bargains, what a choice.
What a selection, First Choice.
Check your letterbox or visit your local First Choice Furnishing store.
First Choice.
Your First Choice furniture dealers across Gippsland are Mike, Louise and Les at Furniture Centre Point, Church Street, Lakes Entrance. Ken and Peter at Furniture Centre Point, Princess Highway, Bairnsdale. Jack Rayson and John Galati at Hartley Wells, South Gippsland Highway, Leongatha. Ray and Steve Fox at Hartley Wells, Commercial Road, Corumburra. And for a full range of quality lounges backed by expert advice and other great furnishing ideas, see Dawn, Dora and Simon at Steele's Furnishings, Buckley Street, Morwell.
Gippsland Copiers, the professional alternative. Gippsland Copiers, that's reliability.
The latest office equipment for the smoothest running office around. With efficient service that won't let you down.
Gippsland Copiers, the professional alternative.
Tonight's Gippsland weather forecast is brought to you by your Gippsland Autobarn dealers for the best dressed cars in town.
Autobarn. Hello, well, areas of rain around some parts of the region, although they haven't quite reached East Gippsland yet. Winds were light to moderate east to northeasterly. And temperatures in East Gippsland were something to boast about today, with Lakes Entrance topping the highest in Victoria, 23 degrees. 22 at Orbost and Bairnsdale. Point Hicks and Sale reached 18, 17 at Newgie and the Latrobe Valley. Foster recorded 15, Omeo and Wilson's Prom 14 degrees. Well, the low pressure trough will cross the state tonight and tomorrow. The band of rain with it will concentrate on the east and should clear Victoria sometime tomorrow. And now for Gippsland's weather. Areas of rain clearing early tomorrow, then drizzle patches gradually clearing during the day. Cool with the wind tending light to moderate southerly. In the Latrobe Valley, areas of rain overnight, drizzle patches tomorrow, clearing during the day, cool with a light wind tending light to moderate west to southwesterly. Now outlook now for Wednesday, cool change with showers developing. Thursday, isolated showers. Friday, mostly fine and cool to mild. Tomorrow in the Latrobe Valley, 17 degrees for Sale and Orbost 16. In brief, rain clearing. And tonight's weather watch is from Megan Farley of Rosedale. Rain overnight, becoming fine down Collingwood Way, 17 degrees.
Yes, Celine, I never thought this could happen, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
That must hurt. That must really hurt.
Weighs very heavily. Thank you. And that's it from the news team. Hope we can have your company tomorrow from 6. In the meantime,
This is National 9 News with Brian Naylor.
Kerry Packer making a good recovery after his massive heart attack. An Australian container ship attacked by pirates near Singapore. And a man charged with the murder of Glen Waverley Corps girl Rosalind Haywood. Good evening. Kerry Packer appears to be making a remarkable recovery after collapsing yesterday while he was playing polo. Although his heart stopped for several minutes, he's now regained consciousness, but the doctors won't know for at least another day if he suffered permanent damage. Sandra Falloon with the latest.
As his family arrived at St Vincent's this morning, 52-year-old Kerry Packer lay upstairs in intensive care, his condition still extremely serious. He'd arrived at hospital shortly after 7 o'clock last night, unconscious and surrounded by paramedics and his own medical team. Specialists led by Australia's foremost heart surgeon, Dr. Victor Chang, then rushed to his side and using catheter tubes and x-rays assessed his condition. They decided not to operate immediately, preferring to see how he responded to treatment during the night. For his family, especially son James, it was an agonising wait. Experts unsure whether the billionaire businessman had suffered any brain damage. Today, ironically launching an appeal for more funds for the St Vincent's Heart Unit, Dr. Victor Chang was able to offer the family some hope.
Well, I'm optimistic that he'll get out of hospital and probably will get a full recovery.
He's still got a tube in his throat, but he recognized me today and wanted to shake hands, but I don't think he likes seeing me. That's a bad sign.
Though still in a critical condition, to the relief of his family, Mr. Packer is now regaining full consciousness and doctors have withdrawn all the life support systems. Kerry Packer probably owes his life to where he was at the time of the attack. The polo tournament had ambulances on hand, several doctors in the crowd and intensive care treatment just minutes away. Ambulanceman Craig Mitchell was among the first to reach him.
When we realised Mr. Packer was in cardiac arrest, we followed our ambulance protocol. That is maintaining the airway, start heart massage on the patient and giving the patient ventilation as well, which we give 100% oxygen to the patient to keep the brain alive. Patients have a good chance of survival if CPR is performed on the scene.
And it's a great feeling when somebody is in that situation, and hopefully Mr. Packer will be able to walk out of hospital. That's a great personal feeling for us ambulance officers.
As a measure of respect in the business community, shares in Packer companies slumped this morning, picking up though on news of his recovery. As